I live! Hi guys. Okay. Where do I even start? First of all, welcome on in Vegas. It's been too goddamn long. I finally have a voice again. I start off the month, right? Do the whole, we're gonna have this be Kitty's vacation, we're gonna have this be, excuse me, continuing some of the la-mulana stuff, but otherwise just getting through some of the list of games that I have on backlog, sharing some cool stuff, maybe doing a couple spotlights here and there, maybe picking, a couple shorter games, that are more friendly romps that'll be over in a session or two. And then we had the cold from hell. A few years ago, when I was in college, I dubbed a flu, or a cold that I had, as being Pestilence's pet cat sitting on my chest. I don't know whether the cat has, tripled in size or whatnot, but dear God. I lost my voice. I was freaking coughing up a lung every 2 seconds. It was... Welcome on in, Sir Sky. No, it was so bad. 0 out of 10. Do not recommend. Do not get sick. But... And then, of course, by last week, I'm improving, right? And then I realized I'm due to be out of town visiting my little brother over the weekend. So that was last weekend, which killed the Friday stream, which means it's been I finally realized that I failed to upload the fourth chunk of the Hell Temple stuff to the archive. And I'm just glad that it was in time, because I'm sitting there going, that was single-digit days in July. I am pro streamer NA right here. So it's been a hell of a time. Oh, and then a little bit of news came up that I'm not going to talk about on stream yet. There's no guarantees yet, but it does pertain to a cleaning challenge that it got issued for Stage Deny between us. I guess I'll talk a little. There's a possibility, not certainty, not even close, a possibility that we might wind up adopting a cat soon. In particular, rescued by one of my other friends, one of the people that I know through school. And so we are possibly doing that. Now, part of this is, we've been talking about animals for a while, and it's the kind of thing where it would have been a certainty once we moved. But then there was the whole issue about the house, which came up while I was sick. Aw, thank you very much, Cogwhistle. So I'm sitting here, right? And we made... I just realized, I don't think I did get to tell this on stream. Now that it really occurs to me. So, the house that we were looking at buying, right? Of course, I've got all these stories that are trying to just jump, one on top of the other right at the start. So, what we've got is the house next door we were working on buying. Had 2 rounds of offers going back and forth, and it's like, okay, settle on a number. And there's the seller's realtor and the buyer's realtor, and so we were working through our realtor and hadn't heard anything for a couple days, and we've gotten pretty good response times for, there have been pretty good response times thus far. But, during the offer process, but then, so Staged asks, hey, is there anything that we should be doing? Is there anything else that you need from us? Anything that we should be doing to follow up? Any issues? And she's like, hey, give me a call when you get a chance. So to recap on the house itself, the woman who lived there passed away in January, right? her kids live out of state, and we're trying to figure out what to do with things. So you get, the estate settled and whatnot, and none of them wants the house. It had a reverse mortgage on it, so, the bank wants you to pay that back. And that does fall on descendants. Oh my god, the Hold's a great place for kids. Dear God. I'm so glad the realtor on our end is a lot nicer and listens and, what I say matters. But, so we go and, Staged gives him a call. Aw. Yeah, I played with the lighting some today. I'll have to make a note of what settings I used. We still have some of the light coming in from outside, so it changed the balance on it. Summer evening streaming. But so, Staged gives the realtor a call. They can't sell the house. There was no will. In the event that there is a reverse mortgage in play, this is my best understanding. In the event that there is a reverse mortgage in play, if there is no will that explicitly gives power of attorney to another individual, then the lien holder, that's L-I-E-N, lien holder, in this case the bank, is the one that has the power. Their only options are to either have the equity in the property be settled, as in, the kids pay it back and then they have power, or it goes into default and foreclosure. Literally, they were trying to be good. Pay everything back, right? We don't want anything to do with this property. We want to sell it, get it off our hands, not have to worry about it, and they can't. Stage and I couldn't believe it. We were sitting there going, how the heck did no one pick this up? How did it get... The house had been listed for a couple months at that point. How did no one pick up on this fact? But so, we had been thinking, though, of waiting until then to adopt. You basically move, then see about, looking at local shelters and rescues, seeing maybe about a dog or a cat. But there's a possibility of that happening a little sooner. As I said, not great. It's no guarantees, because we want to make sure that if we're gonna... Shit, we're talking about this more than some couples talk about whether they're gonna have kids or not. And, when and numbers of kids. This has been a much more involved discussion. But we issued a challenge for ourselves. We've been needing to do a lot of cleaning and reorganization. So... So we've got a lot of cleaning and reorganization to do anyways. So let's see what we can do in a week. And realistically, it'll probably wind up being more like a 2-week process. But we're going to see what we can do. So that's why I've been taking apart the kitchen, cleaning things out. Dear God, I have put so much stuff into boxes to either... We're talking 40-year-old Tupperware that needs to get chucked, or stuff that's literally rusting, or stuff like that, because there's stuff that predates Staged living at this place. There's stuff that goes back to his grandparents living here. So I'm going through all that stuff and seeing what we can do. And regardless of whether we wind up with cat or not, it's going to be a lot nicer living here. Turns out, if you organize your life. So I ended up so immersed in kitchen stuff, though, and cleaning, that we just... That and being a little crispy still from traveling over the weekend. We didn't have the Monday stream. And then yesterday, I was supposed to have a tabletop session. You want to know what happens about 10 minutes before I'm due to start the tabletop session with folks? I get a call from a friend having a panic attack. Of the cats that we may wind up with one of them had like suddenly over like 12 hours gotten really lethargic. Like normally is one of the more active ones. Had gotten super lethargic. You know, they're young enough that they're on milk replacer and stuff. She was basically sitting there next to them going, okay, every 15 to 20 minutes or so, okay, have like a couple drops of water at least, have a couple drops of milk replacer. Yeah, this little kitten who's like 5 weeks old and the run to the litter. This little kitten is having, you know, respiratory distress crop up, you know, elevated respiratory rate, shallow breathing, elevated pulse rate, all this stuff. And I'm sitting there. Honestly, I thought they were going to have a dead kitten. Because when something that's... The thing with cats, they either get better or they don't. You know, give them a day and they either get better or they don't. And it was like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, no, you really need emergency care. And if it's anything communicable, then you need to be able to treat the others, because this is clearly something that's fairly severe. So I'm sitting there and talking with her as she's like going to basically the pet ER and trying to sift that out, dealing with questions. How the shit do you pay for stuff like this? Because let me tell you, medical care is expensive. Yeah. But, you know, trying to see about getting the kitten taken care of, and welcome on in, Random. So, turns out that the kitten is okay now. Basically had kitty bronchitis and a bad case of it, and a pretty serious upper respiratory infection that if she hadn't gotten the kitten care, the kitten would have been... It would have been a close race between whether that or dehydration killed the kitten first. So they got the kitten rehydrated, all that jazz, and on antibiotics. And as of earlier today, the kitten is doing significantly better. Is more lively, active. You're still a little sick. Well, fairly sick, but at least like engaged in the world. So yeah. And there's probably, you know, a couple dozen other stories that I have yet to touch upon. I know we've been starting off with, you know, 20 or 15 minutes of stuff. I know you're late for class, Kellerman, but how goes the shenanigans? It's always shenanigans here. So, in terms of, like, gaming and stuff, I have not touched la-mulana other than earlier today, basically since I got sick. So, since the start of the month. That said, Staged can tell you, he's probably going to be in and out today, probably not on stream very much. He's helping his dad out with a few things, plus his wallet is AWOL. He's working on finding that. He told me that I'm not allowed to call off the stream, though, to help him search.
About ready to give up as, once I get a shower.
Yeah, you scuzzy. Slay the Spire is some... To answer your question, Kelman, I understand it's not a request. It is something that it would be a bad idea to do as a series for me. But I'm contemplating doing that as a spotlight. It's very addictive, though, I will say. Like, incredibly. The first, like, week and change I had it, I put 40 hours on it, and that was while, like, sick and dealing with other stuff. Nah, I got you, Kelvin. It's on the list, so I'm keeping sort of a list of good spotlight things. So, for example, if I'm really not feeling a game that I'm scheduled to play, if I'm really deeply, or if I end up on hella tilt but I refuse to cut stream, being able to shift to a complete palette cleanser, just something fresh that's different. You know, all I gotta do is get the audio balance together, and basically what I'm gonna do actually is set it up so that those are pre-balanced already. So I'll have like 4 or so games that, you know, in a pinch, shit, Windows Update breaks a game that I'm due to play. Well, okay, we got something else we can do. Stuff like that. But yeah, I'm looking at doing a spotlight on that. Especially since the third character is absolutely fascinating. Now, to get to Artie's question of where is Goat Boy, Goat Boy is looking for his wallet. Or rather, is sort of giving up on it for the moment. And probably about to take a shower, because he's scuzzy. He is officially a scuzz muffin. That is a technical term. And fan game someday, actually, yeah. One of the things that I'm blanking on the name. Right, I Want to Be the Co-op, I think it is. Staged and I have talked about doing a basically doing that together, cold, and seeing exactly how bad that is. Kelvin, you haven't seen the third character yet? So if the first character, if you're familiar with, I'm going to use this in the Hearthstone sense just because that's where my greater familiarity is on this. And the analogs get weird if you start trying to compare to things like Magic. The first character is more of a warrior or hunter sort of archetype. Centers around basically being able to gain back some health, as well as it's a good starter character, partly because it does have life gain at the end of each combat. Basically do swoop in, do big damage to face. Fine. The second character is more like rogue hunter sort of deal, so centers a lot around doing combos of things. Oh, welcome on in here, Caves and Hellcat. I'm doing a lot better now that I'm not sick, I'll tell you that much. Working on just catching up, and I swear gameplay will happen. It's been too damn long. But yeah, I've been doing crap tons of cleaning, possibility of adopting a cat in the near future. And now near future means like, you know, a month off sort of territory. You know, make sure that kittens are, you know, long enough for them to get neutered and everything, and get their, you know, first round of shots going, all that jazz. But yeah, being sick sucks. So words, things, stuff. So the second character in Slay the Spire, right? Oh, that's such a bummer. My family actually, screw it. I'm writing this down because this is a story for later. We're already like 5 layered stories in. Go for it. I want to hear this funny joke that literally no one at work understood. So we've got now the story that I'm to circle back to later deals with how my family got one of their cats. So boo-doo-boo-doo-boo-doo-boo-doo. So the second one, second character in Slay the Spire is much more of a rogue hunter sort of style, to use once again the Hearthstone analogs. Rogues are very combo centric and weapon centric as well. Focus on casting a lot of things in a given turn. That is a big thing with it. Additionally, it's very there's a lot of focus in Slay the Spire on cantrips. So basically something that does an effect and draws at least one card, whether it discards or, gets multiple or costs 0 assorted forms of cantrips, or is even contingent upon other conditions. The third character in Slay the Spire is the one that has me absolutely fascinated. It's more of a mage-esque sort of style and a conditional hero. So, first of all, has some crazy potential for infinite stuff. Like, to use the magic terms, the Johnny combos and Timmy's eat your heart out. I've been playing around with going infinite with it with respect to energy generation as well as doing stuff. I'll circle to the joke in a moment. So it's really fascinating and there's a bunch of different ways to play it. Are you going to do a thin deck style infinite? Are you going to do a larger deck? Because there's something to be said for if there's not a, you gain cards throughout the run as you win combats, or you can buy them. There's something to be said for if there's not a good fit, don't take it. So air caves. So a woman with pinstripe pantsuit walked into work, and you told your coworkers, "I didn't know we had Esme Squalor in our presence today." No one gets it. So then you go, "I guess Esme Squalor jokes aren't in today." And no one understood. That is distressing. Where is their culture? But no. So, circling way back around, though. Bunch of good stuff going on. Oh, and then during warm-up today. So, my first time touching la-mulana in a couple weeks, because my scheduled reacclimation time yesterday fell through. I went to Inferno Cavern to practice some of the wall kicks there. Just because that's more forgiving in terms of being able to do laps repeatedly and playing with the wall kick mechanics. Do you just use the directional away, or are you doing a wall kick, etc.? What drop distance is associated with each bit of the maneuver, and shuffling down walls. And then I went and tried it in Hell. I have had my heart broken 5 times going into stream. 5. A misinput in one case on my part. Slight one at that. There was a bad wall shuffle. There was one where I literally, I think, clipped the last spike by about 1 pixel. And then let's see, that's 3. And then twice getting sniped by the pony. In the transition over. Like, in mid-jump. I'm not salty, you're salty. And Hellcat, people at your work don't get your jokes because they're like 15 years younger than you. Yeah. Stage knows that feel. Because they're hiring the wee babbies. Well, the volume in my ears is a little loud. One of the things that I really appreciate in terms of being able to audio balance for stream, right? So, for those of you who stream and aren't aware of this, lesson time. So, if you have something like OBS bringing in audio, and you're not, at least if you're not messing around with, virtual audio cables and other things, right? The input volume from there is not a product of the volume as you hear it. It's using the scale. So if you basically turn the volume up to 100, scale it to where you want it to be relatively, and then move the entire volume mixer slider down, you can make it quieter for yourself, but adjust the balance for your stream. At least if you want to do it that way. If manipulating in-game options isn't exactly... There's low-end hum. I'm sorry about that. Stage's dad has the truck going in and out a bunch. So he has basically a garage workshop area that's on the back portion of the property. So if he's going back and forth doing a bunch of things, then, well, we wind up with low-end hum. At least, here's the trick. I bet you the low-end hum disappears if I actually shut up. Yep, I can look over at OBS and see that, so, noise gates. You could set it so that unless the volume is at least a certain decibel threshold, it will not basically register. The gate won't open. And then you could set another threshold for, you know, below which it closes after it is open. So it means that little bit of mixing, though, means that wait a second.
I done did bit my lip.
I need my map. We got a face that is suspicious.
Also, I done did find my wallet.
You found it?
Mm-hmm.
Where was it?
Under, like, all the blankets in the middle of the bed.
Yeah, you'd never would have found that if you weren't explicitly looking.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Even blends in.
Because I got dark sheets. So, I just spotted something that I did not spot previously. And I will showcase it momentarily once I just note that. So, there have been a few faces that are weird throughout Hell. Is my cursor showing? I want you to look at this face. Normal. Matches the other ones. This one's just a little bit different. So, and MQ's making faces at me.
I'm making faces too. My face ain't normal.
See, I would go along with it being artifactive JPEG compression, except for the fact that I'm pretty certain that this will be consistent if I go between other rooms as well. Like, we can verify, we can science this. Well, not in this room. Yeah, that works. Yeah. Of course I'm picking all the rooms where I can't see it. Guys, I'm good at this. You think I'm seeing things? Well, we know that I'm seeing things. The question is whether they're actually there. I'm gonna go with that being a thing. Which means, how many funny faces have I found in Hell? Room 6. Room 18. Room 21. And room 26. Because would this game put something strange and subtle yet important in background images? That doesn't seem like a thing this game would do. Thriller says what? Alright, I'm... Come on. Apparently he was still on the ladder. Yeah. Boom. But yeah, no, I guarantee you that I'm never gonna get, you know, half as close as I have thus far while on stream. But goddamn it. Yeah. I needed to kick there.
So wait, you're saying this game does stuff, it puts things in the background that are important? Nah, I don't believe it. Shame on, Lee. I was freaking out all day over that wallet.
Here we go. And staged. But yeah, I've only gotten one rep in.
Why am I not surprised?
Because you're the only person that can rival my skill of being able to talk forever and a day about all sorts of things and tell random stories.
I don't think I actually rival your skill at that. I think you're giving me too much credit. Also, hello everybody, it has been way too long since I've seen... Excuse me, it's been way too long since I burped apparently too. Since I've seen any of you.
It's alright, the game was making funny faces at me since you weren't here too.
The question is
Room
though,
21.
have you been making any funny faces at Hell Temple? Womp womp.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yep.
It didn't accept the input.
It's because you didn't give it the input. It accepts everything that you give it. Nice shot. You got a 4 for 1. That's insane. It's like the game's AI wants to reward you, wants to compensate you for your just abysmal platforming.
Hey.
I'm going to buy Celeste, just for the sake of being able to rub it in another game at how much better than you I am at platforming.
Thanks,
Actually,
dear.
no, it's just because of the fact a lot of people from work have been talking about Celeste. Has nothing to do with rubbing it in. Has a little bit to do with rubbing it in.
So long as it doesn't have to do with rubbing one out.
Depends on how hot the game is. Magus, here's what I'm thinking. It's been a long time. I think I should be going. But time doesn't wait for me. It keeps on rolling. Ba-da-bam.
Have I played Guacamelee? No, I have not. But I've heard, I've seen a bunch of you guys talking about it in Tap Stream's Discord.
I think I have that. I haven't touched it, though.
We have it, I think, through PlayStation stuff.
That might... Yeah, that's where it is.
Well, 2 is releasing soon. So...
Now, Kelvin, what you don't understand is that I do have a specialization in etiquette. I've got, like, 4 points in charisma, I've got 1 in etiquette, and then I've got a specialization in dingus.
And oh, a specialization it is. Thank you, Wizrobe.
While Kitty was away on one of her magical mystical journey,
Oh, I have to tell you guys later about how my ear exploded.
Oh god, that was awful. While you were away on one of your magical mystical journeys, I was playing Dust and Elysian Tale. I'd played it a long time ago on the Xbox, when someone that I'd been dating at the time had picked it up, and she thought it was the most amazingest thing ever, and I thought the voice acting made me want to retch. But, I did discover some interesting move tech that actually made the game redeemable.
That's because you like breaking things.
Yes, breaking things. I'm breaking a habit tonight.
Am I familiar with Invader Sim? Not to the extent that I should be. As in, I'm aware it exists, but I've seen maybe, like, 1 episode?
Based on people that I know who like Invader Zim, I will not hold that even remotely against you. Womp womp.
Really? Really, game? Apparently it just didn't like me.
You are getting such ridiculous chakram tosses.
Ah. Hi, menu swaps.
So, I was very disappointed today. Aside from, not having my wallet and being, like, panic attack over that.
Mm-hmm.
But,
That's because you're a dingus.
I went to the health club that I'm a member of after work today. And Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, there's a bunch of old men who play racquetball. And they are, like, twice my age if I'm lucky. And absolutely school me. Because my sense of cardiovascular is cardio. I barely knew her. But,
I could make comments regarding the most cardio you get.
yeah, going to play racquetball. So, I went today, though, and they usually play from, 3 to 5. And I got there...
What? Okay, I'm starting to come to a conclusion.
The controller hates you?
Yes.
I wonder if you're actually losing inputs due to stream. We do know that, there's the Windows 10 bug that results in, things going slower. We actually, people out there in the community discovered that, the latest patch of la-mulana on Windows 10 is 2% slower than it would be on previous Windows versions. And we're still trying to figure out why.
And catching up a sec. Hi, Mini Swaps. Nice to meet you. Taking a vacation from Dark Souls. Oh. No color cues. Ooh. I haven't seen gameplay of that myself, but the fact that is being noted as a thing tells me a fair bit.
I was going somewhere with this. I don't remember where. I'm sure it's not important.
Yeah, see, here's the question. Even if you're going somewhere, do people care?
I was going nowhere fast, okay?
So, no, that sucks, though, that... Okay. Apologies if any system noises just came through. I don't think they should have. I think I have them muted, but then again, Windows isn't.
Bing, bing,
Well,
bing, bing, bing.
I have commentary. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just switched ports to see if,
Oh, right. Yeah, that would definitely cause some pain since there's your mic on there.
no, the mic isn't what I touched.
Ooh, that would definitely cause some pain.
I switched with my mouse.
Since your mic was on there.
I'm just confused. I'm not even gonna try to parse.
That your mic was on there? But, I'm wondering if it has something to do with the slowdown that people have witnessed, though, in, some versions of la-mulana.
If so, I'm salty.
What I actually discovered, there was, if you're okay with me talking about the other game that I played ages ago, a promo thing, but, when I still streamed, which we know is not a thing that Staged ever does, but, when I still streamed, there was a game that I did a playtest on called Hazelnut Bastille. And, very much style of Legend of Zelda. They were kind of doing a cross between Link to the Past and the original. But, one of the notable things is that, it had 4-directional movement instead of 8. And there were occasional instances that I had noticed and run into where it was dropping inputs and I couldn't reproduce it consistently. But I was still the one who
literally did the exact same thing.
Nice. I was the one who submitted the bug report that helped get that fixed. So I'm proud of myself. I did something useful.
I'll mark my calendar.
I want you to know that you sound like the mage from the Shadowrun game that I had to drop after like one session.
Oh?
That was like her vocal timbre and attitude. You did something useful. I'll mark it on my calendar.
Sounds like dealing with some party mates more recently. Oh, Wednesday, April 27th, Cosmo had an idea.
Not a Seinfeld thing.
I'm probably gonna get dead this rep.
It's okay, it's not like you've made any progress.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Right. Guess what? Fairly Odd Parents. Never watched it. Go ahead and call me a heretic, if you will. Okay. Oh!
I almost got that.
That was a weird kickoff that you did there.
Yeah, but it
It worked, it was just weird.
almost worked. Strictly speaking, it didn't, but, you know. Oop. That was...
Brillig? Beware the kittywalkie. Well, let's see if you make it this time. Or if we have Lameza literally going to hell.
Oh, no. You want to know what's gonna happen?
What's that?
I'm gonna get down. Like, be right there. I'm gonna get sniped by the damn pony again.
Pony is worst. Pony.
Hitboxes!
You know what I will say about this area, though? Genuine eat your heart out. Because he wrote the song Pony? Yeah, you know? Like,
Okay, this is one where actually we're gonna teleport out for one reason, and that's because we're close enough to a heal that it means that we don't have to teleport out again later.
You're a thinker, not a stinker.
In contrast to you.
Obviously.
Just noting for the audience.
I just took a shower, thank you very much. I've only been farting behind her. And it's all the silent but deadly kind.
Kittywalkie, only defeated when the Vorpal catnip goes snicker snack.
Only
Vorpal catnip, I like it.
When the Vorpal catnip goes gyre and gimbal in the way.
I didn't mean to pick that up, though. Aww! Aww!
Oh, hey, kitty.
Yeet.
Important question about the llamas. Did you ever update the most recent video on the playlist? I know you mentioned...
I did finally.
Okay, awesome.
When I posted my announcement on, I think, Monday.
Okay, perfect. It was one of those things you had told me to remind you, and I had been so negligent in doing so.
It's okay, you would have reminded me in time. But I reminded myself.
You reminded yourself.
I reminded myself.
You should get Spalder.
So here's the thing: if the catnip crits, right? That just means it's some dank catnip.
Smoke weed.
But no, aw. Dang it, Kellerman. I don't know if we're the best introduction to
We are the only introduction, thank you very much. Bow, bow, bow.
I don't know. I think we only have, like, lessons here, like, lava is hot. You know, things like that. Yeah, pro tips, like, Icarus. Icarus screwed up. You're supposed to jump into the sun, not fly into the sun.
What?
Or at least not fly too close to the sun.
What?
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 Oh! It's an orange!
OJ.
Welcome on in.
OJ.
But no, so, crazy stuff going on.
OJ.
Yes! He got shorn.
OJ.
True, I I do have lessons on how to translate simple substitution ciphers.
OJ.
Cryptography and booping snoots.
OJ.
Okay, so let's get moving a little bit.
OJ.
Yeah, there's... No, I don't want...
OJ.
Oh, well. If anything, I wanted Healing Fairy, but, I guess it's the thought that counts?
You see, Kellerman, the thing that, we have learned from the comments, aside from OJ, is that, people don't like it when, I giggle and, tell her to go into traps.
Yeah, it was the trap jokes. It was the joking about things being a trap and just all that stuff. And how long have I been playing this game?
Too damn long.
Short answer.
OJ.
Long answer. The first episode, Kitty playing La-Mulana, was at the start of November.
You took a 2-month break.
Then there was... We got sick. Because that was
Sickness.
Respiratory Hell version 1.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was one episode in December. And then holidays and ongoing sick. And then weekly installments since like the second week in January, other than the fact that I'm out of town 1 week out of the month.
And then we got down with the sickness.
And then we had the most recent break.
Even though we are down with the sickness, though, we are not disturbed.
Second llama hasn't dropped yet, right?
That is correct.
I'm still good. We don't know by how much, but I'm still good.
Second llama, we did miss slacker backing that. I meant to do it and never got around to it. But, no, second llama is probably sometime next month. They have an event at the end of this month, that's talking about it, and the rumor has it that they're going to announce the release date then.
So, I've still beat the release. You know what they're doing?
What?
They're holding off on the release until I finish my playthrough. That's what it is.
They know it's gonna be a while.
They got time to iron out the other kinks, you
It's
know?
okay, it's 2015.
All the 2015.
No, random person, we, didn't hear the sound of silence, but we created the sound of madness.
Your laughter. Actually, no, realistically, it's more like my laughter. Oh, Llama sponsor Kitty Mom.
You know, I'm not sure how I feel about you called Kitty Mom. I mean, there's signs all around town telling us to not litter.
That was a good one, but... So here's the deal. Kitty has to race to beat Hell. So that they can release Llama 2. No,
The question is, though, are you gonna run like hell?
I don't know how well I can run.
Don't worry, I can't run either, apparently.
Nope, I was a little too high. I needed to shuffle down the wall. So, one of the things to note for folks, it's taking me a long time to do each cycle, but that's partly because I'm trying to make sure that I don't have to deal with the birds.
Or the tilt. We take a break right before we get started each time, just so we can crack jokes, catch up with chat, and let chat crack jokes at our expense. And by our, I mean kitties. And by kitties, I mean get your coat.
So my ear exploding.
Oh, God.
So, we get to town, right? We get to where we got an Airbnb. It's really good experience. But, we got there, checked in, and I jumped right into that. That
was beautiful.
There's literally no excuse for that. Okay. Don't story and stream. Or don't game and story, or...
You've got to do them both at the same time. This is how you get gooder.
I'm gaming under the story influence?
Yes, you're gaming under the influence. You are the influence. You are an influencer. You are a cultural influencer.
So my ear exploding.
Yes.
So my ear had been hurting for a couple days, and like there was something going wrong with it, but it was just aching more and more, and it was like tucked up in here, right? So then finally we're en route, and it starts hurting more. So I start like actually just feeling, and I'm driving, by the way. I'm driving. I'm driving, and I reach up, and I'm like, what the crap? Because it's basically something the size of a pea inside my ear. Like, so I'm feeling it, right? And I put a little bit of pressure on it. Fucking explodes.
Blood was everywhere.
Like, actually, and by the way, we had left the Airbnb and had about 20-something minutes before we were getting to meet up with my brother. So, on the way, we're dealing with my ear. And of course, I'm sitting there. I'm like, well, they sort of press on it to see if any more's going to come. And
like, literally
there's
shooting
like
blood.
Blood and pus.
The back
and
seat of her car is stained. We couldn't get it
It was
out.
like a scene from Kill Bill.
Yeah, seriously.
No, my ear explodes. So we're sitting there going like, what the heck? So I'm still driving, as I'm sort of just feeling it. I'm like, okay, so this is the sort of thing where we can keep going. So it's like, you take some napkins from when you stopped for food earlier, like dampen them with the water from the water bottle, and are like trying to clean up the blood on my ear.
I took my shirt off and held it like between the seats, so that you wouldn't just have blood shooting into the back seat.
And yes, that is a very, very relevant gif. That right there, Kitty IRL on Friday night.
So, I wanted to take her to the ER because we were really worried about this. And
no.
There's literally projectile blood.
It wasn't
so we told her
that
brother
severe.
that hey, we might need to go,
no.
and he just said, "No, you're not allowed to. If you don't, I'm disowning you." So we met her brother.
But in all seriousness, though, there was actually a lot of blood and like pus and stuff, and I'm sitting here going like, "What the hell has my ear been doing? Like, how? Like, it'd been hurting and stuff, but it." Apparently I was just scuzzmuffining it up. I don't know. But my ear exploded. And by the way, the entire time that this thing is like bleeding and draining pus and stuff, I'm still driving.
She's driving through a city she doesn't know either.
We weren't in the city yet. To be fair, we were in one of the surrounding areas that was like semi-rural / loose suburbs. So it was okay. It's just NBD, keep driving. So yeah, my ear exploded while we were going to meet my brother. This is my life.
It's not what it was before.
Meanwhile, I'm also sitting there, and I've been wearing a lighter shirt during the drive, but, you know, after you drive for long distances, even if, like, you showered right beforehand, you get in the car and everything with fresh, clean clothes on, you still feel a little scuzzy. So, you know, I changed into stuff that I hadn't been wearing while in the car all day. But this featured a dark-colored t-shirt. I was very glad for this fact, just in case. Yeah. I know that didn't quite make it to the highlight reel of things I talked about in Discord, but yeah. There's one other story that I have to circle back around to at some point. Also, do I have... I'm sitting here looking... nope. Apparently Tapstream is live. So... yeah, I have one other story for later that's queued up that's not on any other list, and that is, did I ever find out why? So, basically, it just looks like it was a zit on steroids. Or, like, you know how sometimes a zit gets, like, really big and inflamed and just decides to basically turn into, like, a cyst sort of deal? I think it's basically in that category. Oh, you gotta head out, Orange? Oh.
We enjoyed having you, though, Deuterino.
It's a pleasure having you. Take care. But yeah.
For me to get the other thing that I'm looking for.
Guys, I'm good at this. I ran headfirst into a spike.
So, with the, assuming it's gonna actually post, which it's probably not going to. Well,
This keeps happening. Okay. This is actually getting... So, here's my concern. This is not that intensive on my system's resources. Like, streaming is resource intensive, yes, but I have... The hardware in my rig should be more than adequate for streaming Llama and... so playing and streaming something like Llama. You know, high-end, you know, pretty graphics on AAA bullshit, not necessarily, but like... if these input drops are only happening while streaming.
I was gonna say, give me a second to see if I can reproduce it with just like a wall grab over here. But that's just me being arrogant because I think that I have more dexterity.
Like, this is actually a little disconcerting. Not gonna lie, I'm on tilt right now because of the possibility that this is something that cannot be readily fixed.
Seriously? It's not... Oh my god, I might have to do this from my PC, which makes me salty.
I apologize if I'm still coughing a little bit. That's more a byproduct of the dust, because I've been doing so much cleaning.
Yeah.
I've been on my crusade. It just did it again.
You want another controller?
Controller was working fine prior to stream.
Yeah.
This is...
Thank you, Kellerman. That was, what I was gonna say. It was semi-related to the, spurting blood story.
Yeah, hi Kitty Tilt. I don't like the idea that this might be something that...
you can't really fix. Like I said, if you, if it would help at all, which I don't know if it would, could make it worse, I could at least try and verify it for you.
Or to give me a little bit of a shot to see.
Okay.
Because, yeah, it's entirely possible that I'm screwing up my inputs.
I can give you a fight stick if you feel like you want something more precise. I'm not even kidding, too. It has the nice tactile sound.
I don't know. I just really don't like...
Nice dodge. I kind of want to, just show the fight stick now, because I talked about it. And because I'm a dingus. This is one set of things that I find a lot easier with the stick, because I realize that you're using the pad.
Well, there's also the possibility that it's an issue with the D-pad.
Yeah.
Especially since it's happening only on one side.
That makes a lot more sense.
But that still doesn't account for the fact that it's not happening.
Yeah, that's your diagonal on your pad is breaking. Or at least being moderately unresponsive. The 360 pad is also notoriously bad.
So, D-pad has been what I've been using for this section, even though I've been switching more to using stick for llama. I've been using D-pad partly just because of the precision on the jumps. I have an easier time... I have more confidence in that I'm actually inputting the correct direction.
Yeah, it probably is time for us to upgrade our controllers. We have a lot of 360 controllers around here, the vast majority of which have some degree of deficiency. Nice grab.
I hesitated. That was on me. That was completely on me.
That pony. Yeah, that's what I'm running into on mine as well, Magus. I've got one that has, like, literally, the stick is chipped. And the other has, some of the rubber tearing off. Oh, man.
Okay, so I need to be more conscious of which I'm using. I don't know. Part of it is I just got used to doing llama like the whole way with
With pad?
Yeah.
360 pads are notoriously bad. You should figure out how to get the DualShocks working, because the DualShock pad is excellent.
If this turns out to be the issue, though, like, rip. I mean, on the one hand, you know... No, that was just lost off the stick. Huh. It's possible that both issues are happening, It's possible that it's a simultaneous, issue. Oh, God.
Multifaceted failure points. Toss.
I would not be surprised, honestly, knowing my luck.
One of the other things to consider, too, is, it actually does bear in consideration when you have something that's as close as that was, the monitor refresh rate. That control... Oh, dear God, how old is that controller? Geriatric? I think there's a date on the back, actually.
Probably. It's more just showing stream.
Mm-hmm. Geriatric, German grandma, spanking Spanish men.
No date listed. That's what I could probably look it up by, serial number. Or something to that effect.
That'll be a thing after the stream.
It looks like yours! Well, how old is yours? That might, be the best way to...
Geriatric German grandma.
Let's put it this way, I've never owned an Xbox, so this is the kind of thing that, it's not like it's held over from, like, when I was a kid.
Oh,
But...
yeah, Magus, the, triggers are pots. The potentiometers. I have a friend of mine who is a big hardware guy.
Okay. See, on the one hand, part of me is sitting here. So you know how have you ever gone somewhere, right? And made the wrong well, I'm out of chakram and we're just gonna heal while we're at it. So, you know how you're going to a place that you've never been before, right? And you make a wrong turn going there. So the next time you go, right? You're going and you're like, oh, that looks familiar, right? And you go the wrong way again. Wash, rinse, and repeat. So even if you're correcting your route, the way that looks most familiar is wrong. So then you wind up remembering it wrong. Or at least having that be your reflex. Or it's also... part of it does come down to basically some of the same principles as things like Pavlov's dogs. You know, you ring a bell when dogs are eating.
Back in, sucker.
You know, you ring a bell when you give dogs food. And then later on, if you just ring the bell, they'll start salivating and expect food. It is... So, looking at phenomena like that, you can get conditioned to do something wrong. Anyone who's... It's part of the principle that goes into things like tilt to some extent, is doing bad conditioning, really. You wind up in a bad rut. So, one of the things that is common to do then is to stop, take a break for a while, and then come back to it. Sometimes it can have a lot of different triggers and factors, though, that contribute to whether or not you wind up in a certain mode. Part of me is wondering right now if there is not a bad set of conditioning tied to being on stream. Because I'm spitballing for all the possible reasons why this is happening, because this has happened... I was doing fine off stream. You heard my cries of agony and heartbreak. So, we have possible issues include controller dying, which is likely, or at least having an issue. But then again, we're seeing the same issue on the stick as well as D-pad. So it's not a localized button issue on the controller. It would have to be a controller issue, so something like a bad cable that sometimes drops inputs. A breach in the installation, but I have not seen any breach in that, so...
It could be into the breach.
There's... What are the other options? There's...
Refresh rate.
Refresh rate on stuff, so having it be a disconnect between basically what I'm seeing and what the game state is. Which then, in effect, changes into how it interacts with my reactions, and might mean that even if I'm putting in an input, it's already decided I've hit something. Or haven't.
Could be frame dropping?
Frame dropping, although...
It wouldn't be on OBS. It would be...
I know, I'm just more saying, let's play F. Press F to pay respects for the 62 frames that have been dropped this stream. What other possibilities do we have? We have, Tilt. Which I can't in good conscience discount as a factor. This is me we're talking about, and this is Hell Temple, and this is this room in Hell Temple, and oh god, wall kicks. Although I'm having less of an anticipatory tilt response than I did previously. F, tired of falling. So, we're trying to figure out what the heck's going on. Because prior to stream, I had 5 moments where I almost got through the room. And we've had like 1 or 2 near misses on stream, but I've been having issues with some combination of possibly a refresh issue, frame drop on the game side of things, or controller dropping inputs.
Or excuses. I'm leaving it as an option. I'm not saying you are making excuses.
I'm just sitting here trying to figure out, because this did not happen prior to stream.
I just wonder what Ganon's up to.
So we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep for sciencing this, if nothing else, because even if I'm not making it, we're at least gonna get more data points so I can sit there and...
If it was input dropping, you would have stutter walking occurring.
Well, here's the thing. It seems to be something that's associated with when an input is engaged.
Mm-hmm.
Not when it's been held. But when it engages.
Worse than you is the expert, right, as far as I know, on the frame rate settings.
Mm-hmm.
It might just be a... So one of the things that... I play a lot of fighting games, right? You just let the healing fairy go.
Oh, whoops.
Play a lot of fighting games. And, so I can finish chewing.
Then I'll deliver a side note for a moment for the folks who weren't here earlier. I know I'm wasting my healing fairy. So... Look at this Deuterino. Look at this Deuterino. Look at this Deuterino. I have another funny face marked. I'm up to 4 funny faces in hell. Fair enough.
But,
That sucks, though, about the whole frame.
yeah. So one of the things, though, in fighting games, there's complicated inputs you need to do for certain moves. And typically, because you can buffer the inputs, but typically you want to be doing them quickly so that you are...
That was my fault, I think.
able to execute on reaction. And you've got the Hadouken input and the Shoryuken input, which are the most common two that you'd be doing for quick inputs. And Hadouken is down, down, forward, forward, or quarter circle forward. You've also got quarter circle back, which is the same basic thing. But
That was stupid of me. Should not have taken that risk.
then you've got Shoryuken inputs, which are forward, down, down, forward. You can also have it be backwards too, so back, down, down, back. But one of the things, so a very simple quarter circle movement, I had found that I was dropping 1,000,000 times, and I couldn't figure out why. So I went into a training mode, and would have it display my inputs as I was trying to rapidly do a quarter circle for a Hadouken, for a fireball. And I was watching, and even though I was doing a smooth transition from down to forward, it was only reading down and forward, never diagonal. So, one of the things that you can run into a lot is, as you're trying to be fluid in movement, it can be something where you believe full-heartedly that you are making the appropriate move, and you are not. Very, very graceful movement so far.
Went a little too far. I needed to do the drop that I did on the one.
But at that point, too, with the Hadouken issue, it started turning into just more of a mental problem than anything. Because the input is very easy to do. Doing it quickly is more difficult, but it's an elementary movement. It's like learning to pass in football. It's one of the simplest things.
Okay.
But if you strike the ball with the wrong part of your foot, then it starts reinforcing a bad habit, and eventually you're wondering why it's going completely haywire.
That looked almost intentional.
I'm gonna go with it was. So was that.
I needed to pause. This pony.
That's also something that I was considering worse than you. Was that I was getting 3 directions in 2 frames of input.
Yeah, the hitbox on the shield is weird.
Oh, yeah.
Just...
Do you remember the, hitless Tiamat video we saw?
yeah. Hitboxes are weird.
Yeah. Is that a Danku, or am I just on drugs?
That's a Danku.
I think both are true.
That is a Danku.
Why do I want more food? Because I'm so relieved over having found my stupid wallet.
Well, I told you that I got a surprise at the store today, right?
You got a surprise at the store?
Look at the top shelf in the fridge.
Oh, here's the problem. That involves moving.
So I've been sick. For like 2 weeks, and then I was out of town for a weekend.
Oh, you are evil. You are positively evil, Kitty.
And you love it.
You see, Kitty's been sick, but as for me, I'm not sick, but I'm not well.
So, yeah, no, I don't get sick lately. I lost my voice and everything.
She lost her mind, lost an arm,
And yeah, Denku has seen me sick in school. Oh, I kicked too hard. I moved too hard. No, you bugger! You rat bastard!
So, guys, I got something I want to say, I want to talk about.
Hey, welcome on in, Coco.
Yo, Coco!
It's a pleasure having you here. You're gonna see a lot of falling today. Kelvin, and the award for the best posthumously released rap record goes to Kim Yong with I Told You I Was Ill.
God.
Oh my.
But, no. So you guys are going to see something awesome just now, because you are going to see a live kittybard reaction to news about just ridiculousness that has happened in my day.
Oh no.
This is stuff that I haven't told her. I've meant
What did you do? What did you do?
It wasn't me.
What did you do this time?
It's not perfect code. No, so... Where I work for a company that does web development. We do like internet products and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So having the internet is pretty important, right?
No.
Well, for the last month and change, we have been averaging download speeds of somewhere in the 100 kilobytes per second at a fast day.
Damn.
So, our internet has been nigh unusable for most general purposes. Our intranet, our company intranet, is fine. But any outbound connections, anything that we need to watch that's hosted elsewhere...
Good luck.
Yeah. So, this had been a known issue. It had been something that had been discussed, talked about all over the place. And, IT said that today they were going to do a switchover. They're going to upgrade our internet. Part of the problem was that with some of the infrastructure changes we've done, as well as hiring more remote employees, our local internet was being throttled. So we upgraded the line. And it was supposed to go into effect today. And it was going to be at 1 o'clock today.
Yep, 100 kilobytes.
So it's supposed to go in at 1 o'clock today, so right after lunch, they're going to do the changeover. They told us, okay, turn off these programs, turn off your streaming programs, free up the lines. So, we do so, and we go to, we have a meeting that we were doing in the interim, so, you know, that's fine. But we get back and we ask Big Boss Man, hey, can we turn everything back on again? We want to do some teleconferencing. And he says, oh yeah, so, the company came by and said they didn't have the right hardware to get that switched over.
Really?
So we're still on CrapNet.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
This is professionals. Professionals who are supposed to be upgrading our net.
Oh, hey, it's a cuddly Leviathan. Welcome on in.
Yo, Cuddly.
It's been too damn long.
Who the hell is Cuddly?
Cuddly saw some of my very first streams.
Really now?
Yeah.
And you let me forget Cuddly. Why would you do that?
It's your memory.
I'm sorry, you told me you were gonna be the, maintainer of memory.
Nah, it's a pleasure having you here, Cuddly. What's new with you? I know, we've been... Let's see, there's a possibility of adopting a cat, which means that we have a cleaning challenge going this week, where we're trying to see how much we can get, like, completely cleaned out and reorganized. And, we tried to buy a house and couldn't.
That was a good one.
Because it turns out that they couldn't sell the house.
We could buy the house if they could sell it.
You know, it was literally... The folks trying to sell the house did not have the power of attorney necessary to do so. The long story short, folks, is... It's a really morbid thing to... It's a morbid thing to get into. But, there is something to be said for... When you're dealing with owning property of any sort, even if you're, like, young, spry, whatever, and we have a very strict no-dying policy, having a will or something to that effect, something that indicates, you know, what your wishes are, just in case something happens and someone didn't get the memo about the strict no-dying policy and, you know, runs you over with a semi or something, like... Bonus points for, you know, when you're a little old lady who is getting on in years and...
I know for a couple years ago, too, she was on oxygen, so, like, her health was not excellent.
Yeah, this is not the kind of thing that is... Basically, it's just a public service announcement. Guys...
Get a goddamn will. Because if you don't have a will, it will go away.
I was gonna say, where there's a will, there's a way.
Where there's no will, it goes away.
There we go. See, we should totally be the ones coming up with taglines for legal firms and stuff that handle that.
Give us your money, or else give us your money. That's a pretty good tagline, right? Yo! Alright, yeah, that definitely sounds like you have had...
Finally got Terraria back from the person you lent it to, you got a ferret. Oh, single again.
Don't let her know that, please.
Made a couple new friends, got a family job. Nah, making friends is always bueno. Nah, sounds like you've had a lot going on in the past few months.
I guess we can forgive you for being away from her stream. But not mine. I have not seen you in any of my streams.
What streams?
That's the joke.
And it's a moat.
Is it a moat or emote?
That just reminds me of the one guy, Petrie. When I asked him, I asked someone, double checking the pronunciation of her name and like being a snarky little bugger, but not thinking through it all the way. I may or may not have asked. So is that like Petrie, as in like what a dog does to a tree, or does on a tree? It's just like a minute later. Did I really say that?
I'm pretty sure that there's like two parts of you, and part of you just says whatever she wants to on stream. The other part tries to gouge its soul out over what the other part of you does on stream.
You might not be too far off on that one. It's just... it's the moniker. It seemed like a good idea at the time. And like I said, no apologies. Here's the deal. IRL always comes first. You always got to make sure that you got your act together on that. It's a pleasure having you here. How long have I been streaming? Since the first day I hit the live button was September 1st last year.
I think she means the this session.
Oh, this, well...
I don't know. I just...
Okay, see, I'm sitting here, and I'm in a nostalgic sort of mood. We've got folks coming who haven't been here in ages, and it's a blast, it's a whole damn party.
That's their fault, not yours. You can't get nostalgic over them being dinguses.
No, we haven't been going for too long today. What? Since when? How's it been an hour 40?
Because you don't like making these.
Because I don't shut up! Because I don't shut up!
You don't like going in here because you keep falling. Case meet point!
I swear one of these days I'm gonna make it. And I guarantee you there's gonna be a gag in the next room that is just heartbreak. Now that's just... Yeah, so I started in, hold up, we have... What? Wizrobe.
He decided to teleport to himself.
Like 5 times in a row?
Yeah. You know in Uno, when you use a reverse card, it can just send it back to yourself if you're in 2 players?
Yeah, but...
So that's what the Wizrobe was doing. He was just teleport back to me, teleport back to me, teleport back to me.
But no, so... Yeah, the first time that I hit the live button was supposed to be a quiet stream. But a couple friends ratted me out on September 1st last year. Now, there were a bunch of things that got in the way of me being able to stream on the regular until January. But I'm out of town for at least part of a week each month. But other than that, and, you know, being sick, we've basically been going pretty consistently for, wait, I'm supposed to kill the bird. Derp.
Bird.
So, no, I've been... Damn, hold on, it's almost August.
You're almost on your anniversary. You know, oh, hey, everybody, all together, we need to just wish her a happy anniversary.
When the shit did that happen?
Just 1, 2, 3. Happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary.
It's not there yet, you're getting ahead of yourself.
Happy anniversary,
You're getting ahead of yourself.
Happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary. Yes! Hello, Clarice.
Oh my god. That's what heartbreak looks like, folks. Oh, I need to retrieve my shit.
Yes, that was the new personal best. And that is what happened to me a million freaking times in Hell Temple.
I thought the timing was gonna work out. I was wrong about the timing. Why was I wrong about the timing?
Because
it forsook me.
Horses.
It forsook me. The timing forsook me.
You have no timing. You have horse. It's like heroin.
Yes, I've gotten that that is actually my best. That is actually my best attempt, even among the off-stream stuff, because I did not manage to get my feet on the platform previously. Why are you? God, that was heartbreaking. Okay. Okay. It's all going so well.
So that was Kitty.
It all changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
No, that was Kitty's personal best, and we know what we did to allow that to happen. So everybody,
Oh God!
all together now.
This is not the sing-along stream.
Happy anniversary! Happy anniversary!
No.
Happy anniversary!
If this turns out
Happy
to be the
anniversry!
key to it, I'm done. Like, actually. Please don't clip that. That's not on the record. Well, I don't have to worry about it that run.
It's because we didn't have everyone singing along. So everybody, when she gets back to that screen again, you know what to do. Oh, so she can be taller? Is that why, Kelman?
Kelvin, MVP of chat, send me some phone books so the beatings don't show. Oh no, dear God. Do you know how bad choirs are? Have you ever tried singing along with someone in Discord voice?
If they're all in the same mic, though, it's fine.
Yes, and if they're not, it's one thing if you're trying to sing around.
It's like you bless the rains down in Africa.
Kelvin, how do you have an emote for every occasion?
I'm pretty sure that Kelman is secretly partnered and just has everything that he
I am genuinely impressed.
He only subs to people with good emotes, except for you.
I mean, to be fair, what emotes?
That's
We're
what I'm
still
saying.
working on that. That's what I forgot to ask Razzie and VC earlier.
That's what you forgot to ask Bradley earlier.
I was talking to the person who I'm commissioning emotes from. Or at least have been planning on it. We've got terms worked out. The trick is that everyone's lives have been blowing up. I was talking with them in VC earlier in my Discord, and I forgot to check in on the emotes.
A question for you. How long have you been affiliate?
Since October.
Octobeard? Maybe I should celebrate Octobeard this year.
We're not gonna throw a pity party for you, Mr. Patches.
Hey, I can probably turn it into one of those epic beards. It would just take me a couple of years.
No. You're patchy.
I could get the Kraken going. Alright, everybody, you know what to do. You were too late. You had been started on the happy anniversary, would have been good. I'm blaming you guys out there in chat.
Why you gotta be mean to my chat?
Because you write perfect jumps.
Oh.
Rip!
Problem is I'm at low enough health where I actually do kind of have to heal. Except, basically, I don't need to pick up green orbs for a while.
Perfect jumps.
I love all of... Hellman's emo game is truly on point. As always.
Between Kellerman and Magus, they've got just continually dope-ass emotes. No, beautiful is too positive. Dope-ass.
See, you say that right up until they're used against you.
Oh no, they're always used against me. That's okay. They're still dope-ass.
So... No, I don't...
Shrek'd! Yeah, I'm still hungry. This never happens. This never, ever, 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 ever happens.
So, in other words, someone's got a tapeworm.
Probably.
Or, is it your time of the month?
I think it's just because my activity level's been ramping up, and because I also had, like, my food intake today consisted of a Chipotle bowl and lots of almonds. Because the only thing that I could have for lunch was Chipotle, since I have my credit card info saved. Not having a wallet sucks.
Well, on the upside, you found it.
Yep.
I think we're going to do a couple more reps, and then we're going to take a quick story time break.
When we do that, I'm going to post the best, worst music in Kitty's Discord ever.
Okay.
You're running into the Street Fighter issue, I think. Oh yeah.
I'm not supposed to be picking up the thingies.
It's okay though. You are now one away. As long as you don't grab another, you're good.
Oh well. You know what's gonna happen the moment. And yes, it is faster to get back there this routing. I got you, Kellerman. So... Okay, screw it. We're gonna take a quick break now. So, I mentioned this earlier partly because, someone in chat mentioned, they wish... So, we may be getting a cat soon. No guarantees. We're still sussing it out. Possibility. But it's part of why the cleaning challenge got issued. Basically, it's an excuse for us to actually kick ourselves into gear on getting everything cleaned and organized the way we've been meaning to for at least weeks.
At least is a good qualifier.
But, so, one of the things that came up was, being allergic to cats. So, none of my family members were allergic to cats. I grew up in a household with cats as a kid. There was only, I think, one time in my life where my family had less than 2 cats. And... because that's when we had... Yeah, we had... No, there was like a week or two after Bubba died, because we had Otis. But one of our family friends had... So, fun fact about cat allergies, right? First of all, well, allergies in general. It's not the first time that you're exposed to something that you wind up showing an allergic reaction. Turns out the immune system works by... it says, oh hey, that's not friendly, that's a pathogen, ain't it? So then it basically hauls it over to other chunks of your immune system and says, you know, specifically things like the thyroid and stuff, and says, hey, you need to be able to identify this crap, because this is no bueno. And then your immune system develops the response over time. This is also part of why there's a delayed response to immune responses being generated from things like vaccines. You don't immediately get the immune response generated. It takes a couple weeks. Aw. No problem. Have a good night, Air Caves.
We'll miss you, Air Caves. I just realized, speaking of heading out, I need to take the trash out. I spent time sifting through it instead.
So, taking a, words, things, stuff. So, like, when you get a vaccine, the immunity isn't actually generated immediately. There's a delay of a couple weeks. But your body basically, you know, pulls a pathogen or a chunk of it after it, you know, lyses it, breaks it down into little pieces and grabs chunks of it and basically says, here, I have a thing. This is not a friendly thing. You need to be able to recognize this thing in the future. Which is all well and good. Except then your body can overreact at times, which is where you get things like the anaphylactic sorts of allergies. So, like, when you're a kid, right? They don't worry about the first time you get stung by a bee or a hornet. They worry about the second time. It takes 2 exposures generally. Oh, thank you so much. So it takes 2 exposures, right? In order for you to, words. Brain, come on, brain.
Allergic reaction?
Yes. So when you first have an allergic reaction to something, it's, you know, a repeat exposure, basically. So one of the things that tends to happen among folks is if you have kids in an environment where they, if kids are to grow up in an environment with cats, as long as they are continually exposed to it, they're generally fine. But one of the phenomena that is common in certain allergies, including cats, is that then someone will do something like go off to school, be away for a while, and return to an environment with cats, and then that's when they wind up with an allergy. Because when basically lack of exposure for a while means that your body doesn't recognize it anymore, and you wind up with the allergy developing. This is the very condensed version of a whole lot of immunology stuff. So one of our family friends went through a divorce, and the mom is the family friend. She had custody of the kids most of the time, except during things like a couple of weeks in the summer in particular. So when the kids were out visiting with the ex, they came back and one of them became allergic to their cat. This big black cat. Bonus points for the fact that the protein that is typically what just people wind up allergic to in cats is there's a higher I'm trying to think of the specific terms, because part of it can come from saliva, part of it can come from skin flakes, but the proteins in question that are being responded to generally are more dense, basically, in black cats. They have a higher concentration of the problematic protein generally. This is also assuming that I'm remembering something that I last refreshed myself on actively a year or 2 ago. Anywho, the biological feature that is being tagged as the problem. Higher frequency, higher concentration in black cats. So if you're gonna get allergic to a cat and then come back into an environment where you're living with a black cat who sheds a lot, that's basically, long story short, you're effed. So my family had fairly recently lost Bubba, and so only had one cat. Was sort of not quite actively looking for another cat yet, but it had been a little while. And the family friend is like, look, we can't keep him. It's not something that's workable. You know, when a kid develops an allergy, So we ended up adopting Jeff, who is this oddly quiet given his size. We're talking like a 25-pound cat that didn't have any Maine Coon or Norwegian Forest cat in his background. You know, not the crazy barn cat mixes. No, he was just big, fat. Like, if you've seen Daredevil, it's kind of the cat equivalent of Fisk. In terms of just solid build. Big build. So, he, best mousher that we ever had. And fantastic, lovely cat, but it's because of an allergy that someone developing an allergy is why we got him. So, it's just one of those interesting things that life works in weird ways sometimes. Let me have a sip of water. Where did I set it? There we go. Yeah, a lot of good stuff. Of course, I have cat stories on the brain, but that's its own issue. Oof. Okay. Yep, water's important. So, now we've had a little bit of a breather. Ding! And we are back to the gameplay portion of the stream. I have to say, one of these days I'm gonna have to go through and look at one of my VODs and see, like, what my, especially for Hell Temple, what my storytelling to gameplay ratio has been, because something tells me that, okay, yeah. I'm rolling on the one set of inputs, which is probably killing me there. At some point I'm gonna have to go buy more, chakrams if, oh, I didn't mean to get the heal. So definitely try Guacamelee. Duly noted. Got a great aesthetic. It has caught my eye. I have not looked into depth on it. So one of the other things to know with me is that I've sort of dabbled in gaming at different points. Like, yeah. But I haven't really gamed the same way that, like, a lot of other folks talk about it. You know, usually as a kid I would have, you know, a couple titles that I would sink a lot of time into, but not the breadth a lot of folks did. So I got exposed to Metroidvanias and stuff pretty late, which sucks, because turns out I love them. So help me, when I kill that horse, when I kill that pony, I'm gonna melt it down into glue. So help me. Those spikes are moving. Have they done that before? Oh no. I don't... Am I just blind? Did I fail spot checks? Or... I never have played Borderlands 2. That looks scary. I don't like that. I'm really wondering now, did I just, like, fail a zillion spot checks? Or is this a new development? I wouldn't put either past me or the game. Really? And there's a description of a pony made of diamonds. Oh dear. No, I'm killing this pony, and I'm sending its carcass to a glue factory. That's the end-all be-all of it. Oh, well, yeah, I'm taking that hit. I'm gonna try to clear this out so that I can... I keep getting really good deals on those chakrams. Oops. Nope. Dodging! What? I deserved to have my butt handed to me and to fall. I'm completely honest. Oh no. There's a horse place near you, Calvin, and they have this big horse out on the front next to the road. Like, an advertisement. And it looks like they got a 4-year-old to choose the color, so it's like pink and yellow and red and ridiculous colors. In your head, that's a physical embodiment of the horse borderlands. And that was a zip. Zippy weight. That pony, though. Dodged on the ladder. Okay. Yeah, I don't know that that was ever moving before. Because the movement's drawing my eye. I'm not salty. You're salty. Okay. This room. One of these days, I'm gonna get through this room and I'm gonna... Or even just this chunk of this room. I'm gonna get through it and I'm not even gonna know what to do with myself. I'm gonna accidentally walk off the damn ledge. What happens if I go up instead of down? In what sense? I'm blanking on the, reference to... Oh, are you asking about that? The room that I shortcut to? In the room where I keep dying? I'm not even processing. What the heck am I doing? In the room where I keep dying. I basically was placed perfectly there. The room where I keep dying. Yeah, okay. So, hell geometry is weird. I wish that I had made sure that... I just realized I forgot what I, failed to set up prior to stream. Forgot to set up map cam. So, I have an easy way to pull this up. No, I don't. Okay. So, the main portion of hell sort of does this loop-de structure. Okay? So it has these lobes that come off of it. Sort of a central column. Now, the shortcut that I take takes me down, like, 20 rooms in. So then, each cycle I pass through the room with the fairy, go into the room with the hidden ladder, then there's the room where I have to trigger the... whatchamacallit? The trapdoor thing, the double-sided trapdoor, before I'm able to go through, otherwise I get one hell of a punchline. Then we get into the room with the one wizard that I kill, or sometimes just get hit by a spike of light, and then we get to the pair of rooms. That spike room hell thing, or not specifically, just spike room of my purgatory. That room with the column with the spikes on the walls feeds into one of the hell rooms. Every four or five rooms or so in hell feeds into a different hell room thus far. I know that I'm not giving a strictly correct explainer, but conceptually. So, for example, rooms, say, you know, what is it, like rooms 18, 19, 23 all feed into Hell 3 or something like that. But then there's the fourth Hell, which is the one that the room with the verticals feeds into. If I fall there, then if I fall there, then I get pushed into another hell, which then, if I try to come back from, puts me in, like, room 10. Which is why if I fall in the hell room, I teleport back. I wish that I had an in-game map so that I could even use a cursor to help show this. So basically these zones of hell feed into individual hell rooms. In order to get the ladder to appear, I need to kill all the enemies in the room. When I climb up there, I come out in the bottom of room 26, which means that I climb up into room 25, and then I make an attempt. Note for those who may not be familiar with the mechanics of la-mulana, and in particular room transitions. You can't jump up a room transition. Just as a side note. You have to climb if you're going to vertically cross a room transition. You can fall through them, but you can't jump up through them. I think I've hit the major points on this. I don't actually know if I have answered your question, but hopefully this serves as a nice... I wish I had the visuals for it. I hope this serves as a nice explainer intro to my particular 3 rooms of purgatory. So now that I've killed all the things here, I climb up the ladder. If you look at the symbols here and here, these are in the cipher, the substitution cipher. And worse than you coming in with the weird exception. If I jump off of a vertically moving platform, you can jump up a screen. And the question is there any place where that is useful? Actually, that should have occurred to me because of Spring in the Sky. Aww! And I say hi to things. And that flag persists if you warp mid-jump for weird... Worse Than You knows a hell of a lot about this game. It is absolutely fantastic having, like, the more you know. Just straight up. So, this room, though, all the rooms in hell are numbered. According to the substitution cipher, the runic substitution cipher that is utilized in other chunks of the game. So, this is a 2, and this is a 6. So, that means that this is room 26. Now, as for why I make a point of killing the birds, I just do that basically to make the, to make it easier when I'm trying to drop into the room and navigate through it. I have to deal with the horse trying to shoot me, regardless. Oh, you gonna head out? Good luck on not getting rammed repeatedly. We're gonna have to see how that goes. This pony's got it in for me.
The pony is the worst.
So now this puts us in room 25. And see, I've got my numbers right now. Of course, one of my proudest moments of the run, let me tell you, I mistranslated numbers in a puzzle.
So, Cuddly, no, there's no weapons that can horizontally go through walls. You can get vertical with
You can go vertical up with the flare and vertical down with the earth spear.
Yep. Hey, Magus, tell Banks I said hi as well.
No, I can't jump up here. Additionally, that ladder that you see, some ladders are one way. Because, for all that you can climb up from this way, there's a solid floor above. No. It's no problem.
We love to explain. This is a fantastic game. It's... you asking is the biggest compliment you can give us. You paying attention enough to actually care what's going on is, like, enormous. One
of the other things, so, we're in a very technical part of this game right now. Basically, Hell Temple is the bonus area. So, it's basically very movement mechanic dependent. So, one of the big things that is, here, I'll show, Earth Sphere?
Direct downward vertical.
Goes all the way.
Mm-hmm.
And then for Flare.
Direct upwards vertical. almost full screen.
It terminates after a certain distance.
Mm-hmm. Flare goes full screen. Or not flare, Earth Spear.
I don't think that I can get an angle to kill the horse, because unless I'm... We'll see. Trying to think of the smartest way to do this in the limited space environment that I have. Playing around with how the momentum works on the Earth Spear.
Ugh.
Yeah, so the Earth Spear does not maintain your horizontal velocity component. If it maintained the horizontal velocity component, that would be ridiculous and potentially game-breaking.
You can do some weird stuff with that.
But it does not appear to. Whether Llama 2 has a map will be drawn. Yup.
And the map will be wrong.
So with the movement tech here, la-mulana jumps are a little weird, especially given that there's been a prevalence of very floaty sorts of Metroidvanias and stuff going on, as well as things that have a heck of a lot of vertical, or rather aerial maneuverability. I mean, think of things like Hollow Knight. You barely have to touch the ground if you're doing it right.
If you are at all familiar with the old games like Castlevania or Ghosts and Goblins, Ghouls and Ghosts, anything like that, the old school like 16-bit, 32-bit versions of those games, it's a reasonable facsimile for the way that aerial control goes in this game.
So, some of the mechanics that we're making use of. So, there's basically two general styles of jump that you can make with Llama. By the way, if I call the game Llama or Llama, it's just me being silly. So, this is actually really... I'm gonna try and get an attempt at this, and then we're gonna teleport somewhere that's a little more
you can
open.
just do it in the Hell Room. It's easier to show there.
Oh. Well, no, I'm gonna grab a different room. Brain. I'm doing the entire wrong thing. Oop.
Alright.
So, I'm gonna grab the entrance room to Hell.
Good call. I like that.
So, this gives me some more lateral stuff as well as some vertical stuff to play with. Mm-hmm. So, there's a couple pieces of movement tech that you gain. One is the feather, which is the double jump. If it'll engage, there's the grapple claw as well. Now, you can't get vertical clearance off of a wall jump. So, you can move down, not up. But, so when you jump,
Basically,
you can do directional jumps, where I can't really mess with my momentum much.
I think it's 30% delta in speed.
So even if I try to pivot in order to try to jump up onto the other platform using my double jump, I still keep going to the left. So, now I can change the angle effectively, but I'm stuck basically. Once I commit to jumping directionally, I'm jumping directionally. At least until I run into
a surface.
If I can, so even if I do a directional, hold up, I'm trying to just do a tap.
Yep.
So once I tap, I can gain free lateral movement again. And so that's one thing to note. Additionally, when I'm coming off the grapple. So the grapple's part of what we're playing with. You know, we use wall spikes, I'm trying to angle around them, etc. There's two general ways that I can kick, that I can depart from the wall, other than, you know, shuffles, which I just use to, provided the input works, to shift down some just to adjust my positioning. I can do one of two things. One of them is just to direction off the wall, where you see I start with, you know, very little component, and it arcs off and, you know, a little bit ballistic. Yep. Okay. The other thing I can do is a wall kick, which gains a lot more of a horizontal vector component. So if I want to be traveling at a shallower angle jumping off the wall, I use the kick. If I'm trying to go at a less severe angle, then then I just use the directional stuff. Which, the other thing is with jumping. So we talked about how, when you commit to a direction in a jump, you're committed. And some of the ways that you can regain control in the air. There's also the neutral jump, which is a huge part of this. So if I want to be able to retain maneuverability in the air, and I want to get vertical clearance, but without having to commit to one direction and retaining some component of that velocity vector, neutral jumping.
Mm-hmm. Now, while you are ascending on a neutral jump, you have no control. You only go vertically. But once you hit the peak and begin to fall, Lameza goes where you want him to.
So, I'm trying to decouple my training temporarily. Hopefully you can hear the click of me.
Tappity tap tap tap, taparoo.
So yeah, there's a lot of people that complain about the controls not being responsive with la-mulana, but the fact it's more that la-mulana requires you to commit and to some extent premeditate what you're doing more than a lot of games. And it does have a very retro feel. Seer Sky noting that this is a remake of an MXS pastiche heavily inspired by Maze of Gallius. So we're also dealing with strong retro feel, and that's preserved in things like controls.
I still need to try Maze of Gallius.
So do I. So hopefully I have not bored you all to tears with this.
It's no better than seeing the same three screens over and over again.
I hope that this helps folks recognize some of the aspects of the movement in this, and part of what's making this difficult. There's a precision in the movement here that is required at very few points in the game. My platforming is not very good, and I've gotten through the rest of the game.
This is the optional area at the end game, so...
It's extra credit.
We make Kitty go through it because it's funny and because it makes her tilt. And we all get to sit back here with our beers.
This actually does make me tilt, though. That's part of what I'm impressed by, like... Yep. Full air control can also happen with wall kick speed in the same way. Zigzag at the air at 180% speed. The movement tech gets silly. I don't have experience with the more advanced aspects of it. I want to gain that.
It's this game is absolutely phenomenal, and on top of the just base game efforts from the community, the Zeroth Cat, I believe Worse Than You, maybe a little bit of Smurfed, basically everybody out there who's awesome and likes to party, they have made themselves a randomizer, and it is the bee's knees, it's the talk of the town.
That's one of the reasons that I want to, like... It's funny. I want to get through Hell not so that I can say that I've conquered Hell. And, like, conquered Hell blind. I want to get through Hell because I want to be able to start playing Rando. I've been wanting to play Rando for months.
So one of the things that just kind of came to mind for me, and I believe I know the answer to it just based on the osmosis I've gained with respect to this game's engine and the way that everything is put together.
It's perfect code.
Oh yeah, this is
perfect code. Hitboxes are perfect.
But oh yeah, I've seen that one.
That's only for the truly masochistic.
MQ does that a lot. MQ is actually a big part of the playtesting on that.
Yeah, but see... Masochist.
But,
he hangs out with us, I mean...
One of the things that I, want to know, though, is the viability of ROM hacking or Kaizoifying la-mulana. I believe that it's not really viable because of the degree of hard coding that's done with it. But, it's still an interesting thought, if nothing else. Just like me, but I am not an interesting thought, I am just a thought.
He said it, not me.
But yeah,
And this is why we can't have nice things.
theoretically how to make a mostly complete map editor. Yeah, well... Oh, right, because of the degree of hard coding also that's gone into enemy sets as well. I mean, theoretically, you could possibly put them in the wrong rooms, but even then, that would still possibly jank up memory addresses.
Man. Quotes. We don't have a huge number of quotes. I haven't had it implemented for very long. But,
Really, the thing about it is, you don't rain too often, but when you do, you strike gold. That's the way it works, right?
Come on. I don't know, what are you saying?
In terms of quotes, like, you don't rain too often, but when you do, you strike gold. I think you just got ponied in the face. A couple years ago, I used to watch all of the Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yes, fuck that.
bloopers.
Like I said, when I get to it, I'm gonna turn it into glue. I'm gonna melt it down into glue once I get a hold of its carcass.
No, I used, a couple years ago, I watched all of the bloopers from Whose Line Is It Anyway? And Ryan Stiles, who is one comedian that I regretfully have not seen live. Although I have seen Colin Mockery and Brad Sherwood. Story for another day. But Ryan Stiles is
Don't mind me.
sitting there, frustrated between games, and he just says, "I smell like condiments." And then the musicians start playing like a little just hokey country style tune. So he just runs with it. Relish, mustard, ketchup, and cheese. And then...
By the way, I did not deserve to stay in this room.
You did not deserve to stay in... You deserve to go deeper into hell.
I deserve to have to teleport.
But, like, the other comedians then on Whose Line were just, wait a second, cheese? Yeah.
They looked interesting. Oh, that was my fault.
But no, I can definitely see how that would be difficult because of the fact that their transparencies, or their loaded sprite set is dependent on the, the tile set they're in.
I think I just need to straight up start shuffling for the wall kick on that first one, because clearly there's something going wrong.
You doing those neutrals completely flabbergasts me, I want you to know.
Really?
Yes. I would use neutrals for shuffling and that's it. I would do full wall kicks all the time, every time.
You're not me.
I know I'm not you. I'm not worse than you either.
Are you the strimmer?
Hey guys, do you want me to be the strimmer? That's the new fan game we're gonna be putting out soon.
I was gonna say.
I want to be the strimmer.
But see, you know what that requires?
Actually, strimming.
Yeah.
Well, see, I was considering doing it, but the problem is that every time I want to, you're going to be doing it. So I'm just like, okay, I'm not going to stream.
That sounds like a you problem.
That sounds like a face problem. Look, I don't know what you're talking about. Kellerman loves me. He actually has 3 accounts on Twitch that follow and are sub to me.
Kill him. Oh my god.
No, Kelvin, I know you said too you were talking about getting that 4th account subbed, but like I said, I haven't streamed in a while, so like I wouldn't blame you if you didn't. Put that like to day 9 or something.
No, see, the problem is that Day 9 does the sub-only chat.
Exactly, that's why you gotta sub to day 9.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I smell like condiments.
The reason why I do the neutrals is that's how I'm getting some of the maneuverability and not having to shuffle in some cases.
Oh no, I understand. It's very quick. Like, it's surprisingly accurate for you when you manage to catch on the next wall. Alright, can we have like a quick little poll in chat? Kellerman just made me think of this. Who out there would fuck day 9?
I was about to say, if you say it's a poll, say who fucked Day 9, you're out. You're out. You're out. Mods, I need you to remove this dingus from the chat, from the stream. Exclamation point, dingus. He's out.
No, seriously though.
He's out.
How many of you would?
The problem is he's a cat dad, so you have to mind the barb.
Fair enough, fair enough.
I just said that on stream. Okay. I just said that on stream. Okay.
So, yo, Cuddly, Day 9 is the OG StarCraft caster who turned into everybody's favorite internet personality.
He's a very major partnered streamer. He has an amazing community, actually, and is excellent. He has done a bunch of Hearthstone stuff, does a bunch of StarCraft stuff. He's been doing a bunch of learning Dota. He's also got his series Mostly Walking, which is dealing with more walking simulator sort of stuff. And he tells amazing stories. Here's the deal. You want an introduction to Day 9? Look up the story of Day 9's car getting stolen.
God.
Because it is simultaneously such a beautiful summary of, like, who he is, and so some of the very special moments. It's either that or some of the, he's got a few other stories that are worth checking out as well.
I think, honestly, the Day 9 Daily, I don't remember which episode it was, but way back in the day. Day 9 used to do a series back on YouTube way back in the day. I'm talking, shit, when was that? 2008? 2009? Like, this guy's been around for 10 years, over 10 years, easy. And he was doing StarCraft 2 content then. He was the name. If you didn't know Day 9, you didn't know Dick. But, Day 9 would do Day 9's dailies, where he would do a video every single day, and it would be stuff where it was talking about how to get better at the game, how to think differently about the game, how to. And he had a special episode 100 of Day 9 Dailies, where he took a look in the rearview mirror at all the things that had happened to he and his brother, who is also a StarCraft caster named Tasteless. And, he just went back and did like a full look in the mirror at just how things got there and why StarCraft was so sentimental and important to him. And it was probably one of the most heartfelt, genuine, down-to-earth experiences you could get from any internet personality or internet celebrity or just series in general.
One of the other things that I really respected about him is when he was doing a lot of that while working full-time.
Yes.
It was, more recently he's become a dedicated streamer, but that's comparatively recently. He was a, web dev.
Day9 has been one of the most beautiful things, too, about it is they pulled him in to cast the International, the multi-million-dollar Dota 2 tournament that Valve puts on every year. And at this point in time, Day9 wasn't like an established name in the Dota community. He's still not. Day9 is not a Dota pro. He is just the esports guy. He knows his esports and he knows how to make it interesting.
Pair him with a subject matter expert and you wind up with a really good team.
Right. And Day9 got a lot of stuff wrong, don't get me wrong. Don't get him wrong. But it didn't make a difference because the guy's got the chutzpah. Like, the day that Day9 ends up going the way of Total Biscuit, God rest his soul, is, shit, I'm gonna be sad. Be sadder than I was to see, Dimebag Daryl get shot. I remember that day. I almost cried during class.
But no, it's... I don't watch Day9 routinely. But there are a lot of... Part of it is he has a knack for telling stories. It's also funny because Day9 is one of the first online content producers that I became at all familiar with, whose content I started seeking out at all. And I still pull some inspiration from him. It's funny because we both pull inspiration from him, but in completely different ways. You pull more on the casting and the energy side of things, and I pull more from the storytelling sort of side and that sort of delivery. But and to take inspiration from doesn't mean that you're wholesale copying. It's more getting a sense for what you like, what you don't, and...
If anybody ever accused me of ripping off Day9, it would be the biggest compliment they could give me. It's like being accused of ripping off John Madden. Although in that case, it's not quite as much of a compliment. Or you see, if they're gonna score, they need to put the ball in the end zone. Thank you, John Madden.
Sports ball, do the thing! Sorry. I'm not a huge sports person. You wanna know what sport I get really into when I get the chance to watch it?
Water polo?
That one's interesting partly because if you watch Olympic matches and stuff, they have the underwater cams, and dear God, they are kicking the crap out of each other. Like, on the surface, it's like, oh yeah, they're swimming. Underneath, it's... No, curling.
I was gonna...
Curling. So, there was one Winter Olympics, and I'm trying to remember when it was. I think I was in junior high. I made a point of... So, that was one of the years where NBC, which has the exclusive rights in the Olympics stuff, they freaking set it up so that in prime time you couldn't watch one event start to finish. They would mix it up between like 4 different events, so that if you wanted to see the end of that particular bobsledding event, you had to watch from like 8 p.m. till 11 or midnight, because it was intermixed with a whole bunch of other things. There was one channel, though, among the NBC properties that didn't do that. At least somewhat consistently. USA
USA! USA!
USA channel, which is more for things like, that's the series, or that's the channel that things like Monk came from, as a series. They had curling, Olympic curling on, and they had matches played start to finish for like 3 or 4 hours at a shot. So I was hurrying home. Usually I would try and, because I just could not stand being at home. And growing up with somewhat strict parents is a nightmare in its own way. So I would find ways to stay after school. Not doing anything terrible.
That bat was just humping your head.
Stand back. Fun animal facts. One of the, they've since discovered, I think, a few other species that do it, but one of the first species, possibly the first, that was discovered to,
Hump legs.
no, provide fellatio to other members of the species. In other words, give oral. Bats. There's certain species of bats that give oral to each other. Yeah, it's... I know a lot of weird facts.
Everybody, this is why you come to the stream.
In any case. Not that everyone needed to know that. So... I don't remember where I even first came across that fact. I might have actually come across that fact first in, like, a bio class.
I thought it was a furry forum.
That's a whole different kind of fish. We don't talk about those. Probably just clip it. That's one of those just fun animal facts, right?
Bestiality.
What the hell was I even talking about before the bat started trying to hump my head?
Bestiality.
See, that's the quotable moment. That's the quotable moment. So, what the hell was I talking? Damn it, Steve.
You're welcome.
It's okay, you know what a speculum is. Speaking about things to know. No, I hear you there. I'm just... The thing that gets me is I have this moment of, oh, I have a fun fact! Woo, woo, woo! And then part of me is just sitting there shaking my head going...
Mind the barb.
Kinda, yeah. Which, if you haven't picked up on that joke yet, mind the barb.
No, let's just let them, lend that
Cat
into
anatomy.
obscurity.
You blame pathology. Yeah, that's... So, what the hell is... Olympic curling. Got some stones there, you know? So, no, I made a point, though, of trying to get home after school as quickly as I could, so that I would sit there and my brother, my mom, and I would watch Olympic curling while my brother and I were working on our homework. My dad would get home from work and he'd be like, what the hell? Like, of all the things.
No, I always liked watching water polo, fencing, and any of the hockey games I could catch. I don't know, what about you guys? What are your favorite Olympic sports to watch? Also, of course, soccer, but that's a different... Oh shit, this is still on you. I'm not going to ruin your star day. I was going to prep up Celeste for download. I'm not going to download it while you are streaming, I'm going to prep it.
GDQ is its own...
GDQ is amazing.
So if you guys want to see, like, you want to see a great speedrun of a terrible game? The Animorphs speedrun. From which GDQ was that?
2016, 2015?
There were...
I think summer 2016.
It's a hot mess, and it's beautiful.
Yo, Sears guy. Yo, when you finally kick the shit out of both la-mulana records, and you get back to GDQ with all the new tech we found, put me on your couch, alright? I will fly out there. All that I've wanted to do for, like, years is just be either on the couch or announcing at GDQ. And now that I finally have a real gerb, I might be able to do that. But you're my ticket there, so Sears guy, if you're still there, I'm shamelessly mooching off of you.
Shreked! I tried to move too quickly because I knew that the pony was a ticking time bomb. I might need to pay attention to the angles at which the pony shoots. Yeah, I...
It's a madhouse!
No, that'd be a fun time, though. Like...
I get that you don't know if you're going to a GDQ anytime soon. That's why we're saying once you start cracking those recce's, because we know what's going to happen.
That was almost good, except for the fact that I, didn't have the sub-weapon I thought equipped. But I still hopped over the projectile, so...
We're gonna push you up to partner and get you like 50,000 viewers at any given point in time.
To be fair, you don't need to be partner.
Oh no, you don't need to be partner, but what we're saying is we're gonna make sure you get revenue enough so you can go, because I know he needs like a passport to get from Guatemala, and he needs a fake ID so they don't think he's 13. So, if we get
Just
you all
grow
that
a beard.
stuff... Yeah. We'll buy you a beard. It'll be straight from the chest hairs of some, like,
I was just gonna say,
Syrian dude.
You, get stims to donate.
Yeah, there we go. Perfect.
But no, seriously, like, here's the thing. GDQ stuff's interesting, though. Like... obscurity is not necessarily a problem.
Some of the best runs and best games are things that are really obscure. Now, granted, it has to be, like, obscure but has awesome tech, or you can just talk about it.
Be that awesome.
Yeah, you can just talk about it and be...
Shit, you know, you get a good run with...
Or a really, really bad run like Animorphs.
Okay. That one is, like, beyond RNG the run. Saved by the side of the platform.
Yo, Kellerman, thank you for stopping by. You get yourself some sleep.
Yeah.
Tell your mama I love her.
Have a good night. It's a pleasure having you here, and hope to see you later in the week. By the way, Friday this week. I haven't finalized this plan yet, as in I need to get my OBS and stuff set up for it still. I'm looking at taking a bit of a... We're gonna call this a bit of a romp. In terms of games, I'm going to play Ori and the Blind Forest. So, the reason why I describe this as a romp is because with a weekly format, right, you wind up playing... Shit, we were just talking and reminiscing earlier about exactly how long I've been working on la-mulana for. So, one of the ideas is that if you take a game that is naturally shorter... the shorthand description that I've had for Ori and the Blind Forest is it's kind of like Metroidvania Light.
It's a Metroidvania that's a vegetarian.
I might be able to finish that in a month. So long as I don't try to map it by hand, which then again, it doesn't have nice rectangles, so no. Just no. I'm a mathematician. I know exactly how much of a pain in the butt different curves can be.
I don't like it when they got curves.
But no, I'm gonna be doing that. Essentially blind. Basically, I was deciding whether it was gonna be just a like for me game or a stream game. So I'm like hour and a half, 2 hours in, generously.
I didn't even know you put any time on it.
I did put a little time on it. I told you I was playing it the one day.
I'd forgotten that.
Yeah, I'm not mapping that by hand. I'm sorry. No. Actually, no, I'm not even sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Never in a million years. If you paid me $1 million, I might consider it.
What about might? Is it might like Thor? Like Mighty Tornado? Shrek'd! The definitive edition, yes, she has it off of my stuff, so definitely the definitive edition.
Bad timing.
I need to make you play Twilight Struggle at some point. Completely off topic, but I was just thinking of stuff I have in my library that's amazeballs.
Well, yeah, you know what that requires, though?
What?
Time.
Yeah, we don't have that. My Odin's beer!
But no, so we're gonna be doing, taking a bit of a breather with, that, because, next month, Dead Cells, finally
Dropped out.
leaves early access,
Dropped at 1.0!
and it looks like there's gotta be something beyond the Hand of the King, so, we're gonna be having fun with that. So I'm gonna be going back to Dead Cells for at least a few weeks on that, probably, because I don't expect me to be good enough to be able to instantly get there, and plus we still have some higher difficulty stuff to explore. Let's see, what other things are on my list? Fez is going to be a Monday game at some point.
You're gonna be a Monday game.
The other problem with the weekly structure is that it just takes me forever to get through things, especially when you occasionally lose a stream here and there. And
So Magus is talking about stuff on PS3, PS4, which makes me think of something. I still need to expose you to Metal Gear.
yes, you do.
We could get an Elgato and turn this into a stream thing. It would be terrible.
It would have to be on your channel.
No, it's on yours.
No,
Yeah.
it's on your channel.
We're gonna show it to all these people too. Your reactions.
I'm not saying that like they can't see it. It just means that they come over to your channel.
It's a hind D.
What?
A hind D.
I'm suddenly so confused.
Metal Gear.
I don't. So, now,
Colonel.
Fez is something that was given to me a while ago, and I have been meaning to get to. The only shame is that the person who gave it to me is out of the country right now, so I don't know if they'll be able to come watch it live. But I also know that once Llama 2 drops, and there's a few other things that are going to be on my slate, it's going to limit my,
Your Fez time. You're not gonna wear the hat.
that is still, okay,
Can we just do that one of these days? I want
we need to,
I
but we
want
need
to
a
insult.
weekend.
I want to insult you.
I mean, I don't need a game in order to do that.
Dingus doesn't count.
See, one of the things that y'all miss is just the casual savagery that I wind up delivering sometimes. Just,
They don't get to see it.
and I know y'all want to see it now that okay, here's a question that's been bothering me. Have those always been moving? Or am I just an idiot and with
those have
bad
always
memory?
been moving.
Okay. Idiot with bad memory. Need to play more often. Okay, got it. Or maybe just, get through this. I did not think that I was going to make that. Ooh. What the? What? You should have had that. Game, please. Breaking my heart.
So, you know what the theme song of Hell Temple is? I'm only gonna break your heart. I am going to crack this open and go into the other room and eat, because I am just feeling munchy and stuffs.
Well, like I said, there's dessert later.
Yes, there is dessert.
By the way, as for what dessert was, when I was at the store today, it was a terrible influence. I may have gotten us a piece of Hershey's chocolate cake.
Oh, and a cola.
May have.
Gersh.
I'm a great influence.
Gersh, begersh.
See, part of the problem is that people talk about like male metabolism and stuff being fine until it isn't, and stuff like that. But apparently, just my metabolism is much better than yours in certain regards. My weight just winds up being more stable.
I wait for nothing.
Which on the one hand means that trying to, you know, lose weight and stuff. Losing weight is a losing prospect for me. I'm better off trying to increase the ratio of muscle. So, losing size usually means gaining weight for me. But, you know. And Lameza takes a spike to the head.
Bump set spike.
And we get the whiz robe on the way back. So, no, things have been just nuts, and we've been losing just enough weekends to things like being sick. Shit. There's a drive-in theater in the area. I almost went up for the ladder and forgot that there was still an enemy there. Worse than you noting that the only really effective diet advice you've ever heard is smaller portions. Yeah, honestly, that's a lot of it. That and, limiting calories among what you drink. Bonus points for reducing the simple sugar content in your diet. Basically, if you train your palate to crave fewer sweet things like shit. There's posts about this that go around on social media about, you know, folks from other countries, you know, try something in the US and they're like, holy shit, it's like overpoweringly sweet. What the shit is wrong with you guys? It's something to be said for it. The things like a bunch of the corn syrup and stuff being added to stuff, as well as things like simple cane sugars, etc. There's just a lot of sugar content in things. So the biggest bits of diet advice, yeah, moderation and portion control. But also just, and once you acclimate yourself to smaller meals, your body sort of goes, okay, fine, and you get filled, your stomach actually stretches over time as you overfill it, so basically you allow your stomach to go back to sort of a normal size, not an engorged or stretched state. Plus you limit your brain. I can tell that my med is wearing off. So the other thing that you do is limit the profile of sweets and stuff. It's not to say that you can't have them. It's give it like a week or so, you know. And stay away from even artificial sweeteners. Like, cut soda for a week. You know, if you're gonna have something sweet, have something like fruit juice, which, yeah, is high in calories and sugars. But so long as you stick to like some of the organic stuff, not a bad call. Some of the stuff, you know, no sugar added, etc. Just because at that point you're left with just fruit stuff. But you train your palate to crave fewer sweets and to limit, and you train your stomach to require less to feel full. That plus increased activity level, and it doesn't even have to be a huge differential. You know, you can wind up with you're having 100 to 200 fewer calories a day than you otherwise would. But still, having the sustainable lifestyle level, yep, lately you've been working on putting less sugar in the Kool-Aid you've been making. That's exactly the kind of shift that helps significantly. One of the other things to keep in mind is basically things that work well for a diet. Provided you don't have other dietary considerations, things that work well for a diabetic's diet are generally a pretty good call, actually. So things like complex carbohydrates, you know, watching your protein and fat ratios, things like that. Well, here's one of the tricks with the artificial sweeteners, right? I mean, yes, that gets into a whole nother set of issues with respect to the influence of money and secondary interests in production of research and conducting research. Trying to get actually truly unbiased research from a lot of institutions winds up being a problem, especially depending on where their grants and such are coming from. But In any case, that's more of a problem with how we have incentivized science. With respect to aspartame, though, my concern with things like aspartame is not... It is not a problem with the sweetener itself in terms of its, like, biological impacts. It is with how it trains your palate. Because you still wind up trained for the sweet. So it's basically... It makes sense, especially if you're trying to use that as a way of substituting or, you know, over time reducing. It makes sense to include things like, you know, switching to diet sodas, etc., things that contain aspartame, as you work on limiting things like the calorie consumption. But in turn, you lose some of the benefit of having your palate trained when you have too much by way of artificial sweeteners. It sucks, but no. True. No, that is a very fair point, worse than you. Changing recipes is easier than changing people. No, please, I am not trying to discount your point in any way, shape, or form. It's more noting my particular concerns with it and setting the distinction between that and what usually scares people off of aspartame. No, gets into some interesting territory, though. There was another line of thought that I had that sort of branched off from this, and I'm blanking on what it is now. So, if it comes back, it comes back.
I know I'm off cam right now, but still contribute. My personal experience when I basically cut all sugars out of my diet was for a while I was pretty heavily invested into diet sodas just because of the fact that my palate was still craving that really hard. But over time, even those seemed very sweet because they were being consumed in some degree of moderation, greater over time. And black coffee helps a lot. But it got to the point where anything that had real sugar in it felt like a punch in the face.
Mm-hmm. No, and it's funny because a lot of it is basically the more you cook for yourself, really, the more you're likely to wind up with your palate shifting in that way. Baking for yourself is a different deal, because you still wind up with high sugar content in a lot of baked recipes. But if you start making things from scratch, including things like sauces. Sauces are something that are deceptive. A lot of folks don't... It's kind of like they talk about how you try and be healthy, you go to something like McDonald's for a salad, or another place like that, and between crappy ingredients in the salad and the fact that you end up with so much dressing on it, it's basically sure, it might be better than getting a Big Mac or something, but it's not as good as you think it is. I mean, like...
Ooh, yeah. Fucking A. So,
what you got over there?
I just got an email. I was, ordering us some, more stuff, by the way. But, I spent a long time to go over there so I can be in shot.
If I had paused. Dear God.
I'd spent a long time as a smoker.
I'm gonna kill that pony. I'm gonna kill that pony. I'm gonna kill that pony. I am going to find its family and murder it as well. You are going to get some fantastic glue off of this pony and its friends.
Just credit Genuine.
And I lost the chakram too.
Yup. No, I spent a long time as a smoker. This is a story I've told a lot. But, my poison of choice was hookah tobacco. and I just checked my email because I'd ordered some stuff. Not smoking related or anything, just... But anyways, I had gotten a email saying that there's like some kind of hookah convention or something like that going on. And it's just like, I have literally never even seen this stuff before in my inbox. And apparently I'm on some rare mailing list because it just shows up out of nowhere.
That's impressive.
Yeah. But the reason why this is significant right now is because I had multiple hoses that were just stored up over the years and hadn't been used in ages that I had just thrown out. It was kind of one of those things where it'd been sitting around, you know, I can give it to a friend, I can do this, that, the other thing.
But no, just get it out.
Yeah. Finally had enough of it, get it out of the goddamn house. And... you know, as soon as I do that, I get an email from the hookah gods.
If that isn't a band name, then it should be.
The question is, what genre are we talking? Feels like a reggaeton or funkadelic kind of thing. But could also be like very irreverent and end up being like some kind of indie...
I was gonna say some indie, like, reggae punk mix.
Reggae?
Or like reggae ska mix.
Okay, yeah.
Wait, I need to kill the bird.
So, you know how everybody knows the Trashman's bird is the word?
Bird, bird, bird. Bird is the word.
I heard on the radio the other day. They ripped that off of another group.
Oh no.
It's actually done by another group. I can't think of who it is right now. But they just covered that song and ripped it off, and that was the thing that made them famous. Like, they totally Elvis'd that shit. They Led Zeppelin'd it.
Better that than going up like the Hindenburg. I mean, oh my god, there was one day where Stage came home talking about the Heisenbug, and for some reason I parsed it as the Hindenburg instead, which is a completely different issue.
Now, Heisenbugs are a fun little thing.
But no, you were talking about a Heisenbug, and I parsed it as a Hindenburg.
Depending on who you ask, we get lots of those.
Boom. Okay, Wizrobe. Thank you.
I'm going to be back. I'm gonna take this into
I don't
the
know how much
charger.
more of this I have in me. I'm trying.
You want me to do it for you?
No!
Are you sure?
No, yes, I'm sure. No, you're not doing it. Now quit being a... something. A Hindenburg would definitely be worse than a Heisenbug. As bad as that already... Yeah, no, it's... Hindenburg, though, that's how I parsed it. And it was funny, because at first I was sitting there and I made a joke, like, following it up, you know, about it being an explosive one, and he was confused. I'm like, oh, wait a second, hold on. You said Heisenbug, not Hindenburg.
I remember what the other thing I needed to get was.
Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know how much more of this I got in me. The storytelling helps, don't get me wrong, it's just...
I need to get some more racquetball gear.
I'm gonna make good on the glue threat. I'm gonna make good on the glue threat.
Sure you are, honey.
I will, goddammit.
like a fucking pack of these instead of having to get them individually?
Nope.
Of course not.
That would be convenient.
No, I had 4 gloves on my string for my bag. And
Okay, that might be my favorite zip of the stream thus far. Oh, I was on the...
I had 4 racquetball gloves on my string, and 2 of them are bald, and the other 2 are rotted out.
Cool. I don't have to worry about that now.
Like those, but I really like.
Oh, bugger. Come on. Oh, well, I got the heal. Okay. One of these days... I will accomplish this, and I will be so surprised that I promptly screw it up. And just, like, walk off the edge. Something similarly boneheaded and asinine. I don't think that there's a true safe spot from the pony, looking at it, but there might be, depending upon where it is when it pauses. It might be something where you could determine whether staying will get you hit or not, because it seems like the intervals are approximately constant. So, if you can see and project from where it's shooting, it might be something where being able to stay on the wall can act as a dodge. Because at that point you have not a fixed amount of time, I don't think. Might be like interval plus or minus random number.
It's pretty much random when he shoots.
But... yeah, but the trick is that it's not commonly back-to-back. I'm treating this as basically a bus problem, where folks are waiting for a bus and determining the probability that it... cumulative probability distribution for, you know, when it comes, if it comes, you know, anywhere between 5 minutes early and 10 minutes late. I'm treating it that way. So basically, once it happens, there's sort of an implicit lower probability window in terms of cumulative probabilities. And if you can take... it's not strictly low probability, it just means that if you think of it as the probability that the next attack would have started prior to the given time, following the last one, then if you start formulating it in that way, it allows... you don't get to necessarily hard compute numbers, especially not without any understanding of the background, basically without knowing the background
Mechanics behind it.
for that particular pony, especially since it sounds like a lot of the stuff's hard-coded in. If I don't know that, I can't know it, but I can make some reasonable conjectures on it. So at that point, it might be something where I need to retrain myself, and in particular... So, when you're driving, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something unexpected happens. There are 3 responses that you have. And yeah, you can sort of do combinations of a couple of them, but you can speed up, you can stop, or, you know, slow down, or you can maneuver and steer. Now, yeah, you can do combinations of them. There was a great example, actually, that we saw. A truck got cut off. A, like, large pickup truck that was loaded with this stuff got cut off in front of us while we were driving, I think, to central New York.
Yes.
And they did not have enough time to stop. But what they were able to do is peel off some speed, and they basically... they pretty much did an abrupt lane change over onto the shoulder. So yeah, they were running on the rumble strip. But it meant that because they were able to change their vectors, they had enough time to peel off enough speed that they weren't going to collide with the vehicle that had just cut them off very badly.
Mm-hmm.
And they responded fast. Like,
Very good
I was
driver.
impressed. But that would be an example of using one to get the other effect. But it's also like, you see someone you know, you're trying to pass someone and someone starts behaving really erratically, you know, or say it's a semi that's drifting on and off the road or trying to drift into your lane. There, I would probably want to speed up because I want to get past it. Because even if I slow down, that's still going to be ahead of me. So you get sort of choices like that come up. I think that the way that I might wind up approaching this pony is with a similar sort of mindset of, realistically, I have two options. One is move to the next point and, you know, attempt to move, and the other is to stay where I am. If I am in the position where I am making the last jump, if he shoots, I'm effed. But I'm also effed if he's at the wrong point in his back and forth cycle, potentially, although I don't know exactly how much health he has, and I don't know whether I can kill him with one whip hit. If I can kill him with one whip hit, maybe, but even then I have to make sure that I do not come into contact with him, which still means there's a very limited window. So, given the very limited window there, okay, I'm trying to just talk myself through how to approach this so that I don't get stuck with definitional insanity until luck coincides just so that I'm able to do it.
There's a couple of given solutions, but they're pretty difficult to think of when you need to.
One of my weaknesses in games is the in-the-moment responses until it gets completely under my fingers. There are some times where my reflexive responses are fine, but there's other times where they betray me. If I can get it past the point of thought, I'm okay, but otherwise I have to think of it in advance so that I have some sense for what I anticipate doing, especially given that I have to commit so heavily to my movements in this. I'm talking a blue streak today. Have I been silent for more than, like, 15 seconds at any point today?
Only when I've been talking.
That was my screw up. Yeah, that's worse than you've hit the nail on the head for... I don't even have an instance that works. I'm still in the point of trying to figure out what might work. I have no... The last one that I screwed up close to the end, the one where I got shot while I was on the wall. Where if I had stayed at the prior... Or, was I in the air? Anywho, I got shot, and if I had stayed at the prior point, I would have been fine. Now, if I really wanted to go hardcore about this, like, my maps level hardcore, I would literally sit here and observe the pony for a while. And be timing it out. To figure out what I could expect in terms of, you know, where it starts, what intervals, etc., where it hits. So... I'm right now looking for a safe spot. Or a safer one. This. On the low end, I have 3 seconds or so. On the low end, I have 3 seconds between waves. So, that means that, if possible, I want to be able to get from this position to clear within 3 seconds. Which should be doable. The trick is, at that point, learning the cycle for the damn pony in terms of his walking, which anytime that he shoots is going to disrupt the walking cycle, but at that point you still have a known point that he is starting from. The attack takes a finite period of time that is known, so at that point, once he stops for the attack, you can anticipate and figure out his cycle. So that gains you additional time figuring out the cycle. I'm trying to see if that actually is a safe position. Because if so, that gives me a chance to breathe. And I think it is. Because occasionally he has spiral the other way. Okay. So sometimes he spirals the other way too. Really? Oh wait, it's gonna be a function of which way is... Never mind. Ignore me. I was focused more on the, just when he shot, not the directionality of it to start. I think that's basically a safe position. Because, those come off roughly at 45s? Question mark? How many counts? Yeah, those are coming off at basically 45s. So, at that point, you draw a 45 from this point, and that's past the end point of where he can go. This is safe. Because it also, there's the vertical one, but even that one, even if he's as far this way as he could be, unless it hits you through the wall, you're basically safe. So at that point, I just need to get better at timing when I go from that point to attempting to get there. Okay. For all that this is the most riveting content in the world, it is actually really
Very
helpful for me, and is a nice way of counteracting tilt as well. My mom used to tell me when I was a kid that when I got upset, she'd try to get me back to the... She called it getting back to the front part of your brain. The logic sort of side. Using that to help guide the emotional, really. It's not to say that you can't feel something. It's more choosing...
You have to stay nonplussed.
It's not that you can't feel. You can't feel that way. You can feel that way. But you can address how you respond. So there's a strategy now. I have a point where I can sit, provided my controller doesn't drop on me. Now, at that point, I have to get to that point, which is, you know. Actually, I'm just going to use this to test and observe.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is also a great way of seeing if this is truly a safe spot. Now, if I'm too far lower, too much further lower, it's not safe. Because of the possible angles that can come through at. But this is pretty squarely between...
Even if you can see it at the very far right of its trajectory, it doesn't even cross the upper part of that spike.
I'm allowing for stupidity.
Fair enough. I like allowing for stupidity.
It's a perfectly coded game.
Perfect code.
Okay. But I have a plan of attack. This is, considering that I've basically been doing semi-directed flailing thus far, having a plan?
Semi-directed, semi-related. Check the Discord.
Boo!
That being said, it is about 10 o'clock. You're probably going to want to be wrapping
Yeah.
up soon.
I just want to give it a couple tries with a coherent strategy.
Oh, hell yeah, I absolutely agree.
Because this is the closest we've been to something that isn't just flailing and whining.
My job is just to poo-poo your happiness. Isn't it?
Yeah. Rain on my frickin' parade.
What related tonight?
Yeah, and we're just getting weight zips. That's just what this room is.
It's wanting you to wait for it. Are you
I'm the
going
one
to?
thing in life. I'm the one thing in life I can control.
What related tonight?
I am inimitable. I can't word right now, but I am an original.
If ever luck were to be related to me, luck related.
Of course, now I'm gonna have all those like first jumps get screwed up.
As you can't make it. If you're gonna fail, may as well fail early. Maybe? I don't know. It's past my bedtime. I'm a pumpkin. Wodie's got it. Tilt is the mind killer.
Tilt is. That's part of where we get things like storytelling. It's the biggest thing for me is I really don't enjoy being tilted, and I know that it's not something fun to share. Like, it's one thing when I sit there and have the moment of heartbreak. Like, don't get me wrong. But in terms of the kind of tilt that just puts you in a grumpy mood,
Yeah.
that's not.
Not happy, it's not fun.
It's not to say that everything has to be happy or fun all the time. It's more just. That's. Not that. Not that either! Oh my. Pony is the worst. I'm still gonna melt it down for glue. I don't care if it follows any sort of logical behavior and turns out to be something that is, like, completely cheesable or something, you know, I don't care. Might be too low. That was a long initial interval. What the shit? I can't grab onto that. What the? Oh my. There's another room that I might have to play around with to determine how the wall kick interactions go with the base of the columns that are wider. Like, basically this style. I didn't have my shield up. Shields up. I will do this. Eventually. Soon, TM. See, part of me wants to, like, finish this so I can get on with knowing, like, what the deal is with the faces. Because, like, there's the dude with the open mouth there. There's the dude, you know, who's, like, clamping his jaw in room 21. There's another Deuterino over in room 18. And then there's one up in room 6. I don't know what their deal is. I didn't move far enough. Probably should have wall kicked. Or shuffled down a hair, then wall kicked. I'm hesitant about shuffling on the walls just because I'm having issues with that consistency-wise. Regardless of whether that's, you know, the whole input issue that we were talking about earlier with respect to it dropping part of an input, particularly of something like a diagonal input, or whether it's an issue like that, or I don't know. I know you guys are seeing a lot of my menu today. This is the one day where I don't need the tracker. You see my inventory enough?
Need a menu emote.
Just so long as it doesn't turn into frickin' PC menuing a la Twitch Plays Pokemon.
Oh no.
I've had into like 4 conversations with folks about that lately.
Kitty.
That's where my Twitch account dates from. Twitch Plays Pokemon.
Kitty. Can I buy a new racket?
Hey dear,
Yeah?
can I get a kitten?
This might be part of the collateral. Although really it's cheap enough that I could, I wouldn't even need to have any consideration on it.
Okay, I'm hitting the point of low enough health. I might need to wrap it up for now, but I do have a coherent strategy. This is something where God damn it, next week I'm out of town. Okay. Okay, I'm cool. I'm cool. Chill. Okay. I'm out of town at least Monday, Tuesday next week. Usually the day after I travel, and I'm still finalizing details. Usually the day following when I travel is a day that's sort of a loss for me, as I recoup from travel, which sucks. I mean, it's likely no Wednesday. Screw it, I took an extra, day out of town last time. I think that this time I'm going to do a faster turnaround. It might be leaving Sunday evening, though. What are your thoughts?
Sunday evening to when?
To Tuesday afternoon sometime? I need to play around with my schedule and figure out that. I do have some flexibility in it. I'm sick and tired of being sick and losing streams. That's really what part of this is boiling down to. I am going to do what I can. So there's not going to be a Monday stream, that's for certain. But I'm going to try and see what I can do regarding getting Wednesday in. And Friday is normal. So we do need to call it for tonight. But I have a plan. Might wind up doing some practice. I'll try and hit record when doing practice, because that way if we wind up with anything particularly crazy, I can share it with you guys. But I think we need to call it for the evening. He's a pumpkin. I'm tired. We have cake. And yeah, that's what we're going to do with this. So Friday we're going to be kicking off Ori and the Blind Forest, almost certainly. And that should actually be a game that I can finish and in, at most a handful of streams.
What about finish? Are we going to Finland?
But we're gonna you get what I'm saying? I think I don't know what we're gonna be able to do regarding any bonus streams this weekend. We still we've got something set aside courtesy of Magus, the insult simulator.
Oh, sir!
And there's a bunch of other stuff that I want to get to. So I'm gonna keep an eye on the Discord for updates regarding what next week's schedule looks like. We're going to be here Friday starting around, I think, 2 p.m. EDT is what I put. That sounds about right.
That's what I'm at.
That'll be Ori and the Blind Forest kicking off. And, other things to keep an eye out for in the future include Fez. We're going to be going back to Dead Cells once that update drops. We're going to be Llama 2 once that drops. Probably gonna have something like a Slay the Spire spotlight at some point.
I'm gonna make her play Symphony of the Night.
Got a bunch of stuff. There's also a big list of games that I still need to play and might well wind up being streamed. I've heard requests for for me to play Cave Story for ages, so that's definitely one of the ones that I'm keeping an eye on, and that's one that I'm keeping truly blind for it.
I'm gonna go play that right now.
I have not seen that played. I have heard good things about it, and I am leaving that completely blind. But yeah, Insult Simulator. We're gonna see if we can work in a bonus stream this weekend. I don't know.
I think we can pull it.
The moment we say that is the moment that someone winds up with a kitten in the ER or
A kidney in the kitten.
You just gotta be kidding me. These puns ain't getting any better at this point in the night. So we're gonna wrap up for tonight. Let me take a look. See, do we have
Serp. We gotta go, Serp.
still alive?
He best be. I just saw it on Dick Sword. Yup, there he is.
So our good friend Serpent's Tail is doing some speedrun practice for Breath of Fire 4. He's been I think he was talking about Act 2 through 4, I think. So he's been working on that, having a good time in spite of... If anything, like, go and send him, like, ice cubes and fans, because, dear God, Texas is awful right now. I do not envy him the weather. So, like...
He needs you to be his fans.
I was gonna make a similar joke. Yeah. I told you the puns aren't getting any better this time of night. So, we're redoing that.
You can say the puns blow.
In any case, thank you guys so much for hanging out. I had a blast tonight. Like, well and truly. It's been too damn long. There's so much stuff. I also know I haven't been hanging out as much. I'm going to be branching out more. If there's streamers that you recommend, like, straight up. I've got the featured channel on my Discord if you want to, like, talk a little bit about, like, why you love them. Shoot me a DM for a recommendation otherwise. Like, I'm in an exploration phase. I'm going to be branching out more, taking a look at what more folks are doing, although I'm sitting here sighing because a bunch of the cool la-mulana folks, I can't watch their stuff yet. So, thank you very much, Kitty as a bot. Discord is probably the best way to keep in touch off stream. So, with that, I'm running a verbal diarrhea at this point. We're gonna host Serpent's Tail. He's awesome. He's fantastic. And
RN Jesus, be my guide.
yeah, basically. Ask him. Oh, what was it? Magus, what's the name of that split? He's got a great split name. He was talking about it earlier, and I cannot think of the name. But it's definitely worth asking about the story. It's supposed to be a 2-round fight. And... Slam... something... I cannot think of it. What is the name? This is gonna kill me now. This is gonna kill me. Slam Jam Phantom. There's Phantom. Slam Jam Phantom. So you're gonna ask for the story of Slam Jam Phantom.
Slam Jam. Thank you, ma'am.
We're gonna throw that host. Thank you guys so much. I already said it. Had a blast. Thank you guys for coming out. Have a great night. Hope to see you Friday or maybe following the weekend. Yeah. Just see you around, really.